In the distant reaches of time, long before human civilization spread across the lands we now know as Unova, there existed a single, magnificent dragon of incomprehensible power and wisdom. This primordial being embodied the very essence of truth and ideals in perfect harmony, its crystalline scales shimmering with energies that could reshape reality itself. The ancient dragon was neither purely of fire nor ice, neither wholly of lightning nor shadow, but rather a complete fusion of all opposing forces, representing the fundamental balance that governs all existence. The dragon's presence was felt throughout the primordial world, its gentle breath bringing life to barren landscapes, its mighty wings stirring the very foundations of what would one day become the Unova region. In those earliest days, when the boundary between the physical and spiritual realms was gossamer thin, this dragon served as a bridge between worlds, a living embodiment of the cosmic principles that would guide all future generations of Pokémon and humans alike. As eons passed and the world began to take the shape we recognize today, two brothers emerged from among the early peoples of Unova. These were not ordinary humans, but individuals possessed of extraordinary vision and ambition, each driven by a profound understanding of what they believed the world could become. The elder brother gazed upon the suffering and conflict that plagued their people and envisioned a world built upon unwavering truth, where honesty and reality would guide every decision, where deception would hold no power, and where the harsh but necessary facts of existence would illuminate the path forward. The younger brother, equally passionate but moved by different currents of thought, dreamed of a world shaped by noble ideals, where the pursuit of perfection and the highest aspirations of the heart would drive progress, where hope and vision would triumph over the limitations of present circumstances, and where the power of imagination could transform the world into something beautiful beyond current comprehension. For a time, the brothers worked in harmony, their complementary visions creating a golden age of prosperity and peace throughout their realm. The great dragon, recognizing the purity of their intentions and the potential their combined wisdom held, chose to align itself with both brothers, sharing its vast power between them as they sought to build a better world for all who dwelt within their influence. Under their joint leadership, cities flourished like flowers after spring rain, their architecture reflecting both the solid foundations of truth and the soaring aspirations of idealized beauty. Trade routes spread like rivers across the landscape, connecting distant communities and fostering understanding between diverse peoples. Art and literature bloomed in this fertile environment, as creators found inspiration in the perfect balance between honest expression and elevated imagination that the brothers' philosophy encouraged. The great dragon's power flowed through every aspect of this civilization, its energy manifesting in countless ways throughout the daily lives of the people. Crops grew with supernatural abundance, their roots drawing strength from soil infused with the dragon's life force. Craftsmen found their hands guided by an almost mystical precision, creating works of beauty and utility that seemed to transcend normal human capability. Scholars and wise ones discovered that their minds could grasp concepts previously beyond mortal understanding, as if the dragon's ancient wisdom whispered secrets directly into their consciousness. Yet even in this golden age, The seeds of future discord were quietly taking root. The brothers, though united in their love for their people and their desire to create a better world, began to perceive subtle differences in their approaches that would gradually widen into vast philosophical chasms. The elder brother increasingly emphasized the importance of facing reality directly, of making decisions based on observable facts and measurable outcomes, of stripping away comfortable illusions to reveal the sometimes harsh but always honest truth beneath. The younger brother, meanwhile, found himself drawn ever more strongly toward the transformative power of ideals, the belief that reality itself could be reshaped through the application of pure will and noble intention, that the highest dreams of the human spirit represented not mere fantasy, but achievable goals that could lift all of creation to unprecedented heights of beauty and meaning. These philosophical differences might have remained merely intellectual exercises, topics for friendly debate during quiet evenings when the day's work was done. However, as their civilization continued to grow and prosper, practical questions arose that demanded concrete answers, decisions that would affect thousands of lives and shape the future of their entire realm. It was in addressing these challenges that the brothers first began to realize how fundamentally different their approaches to truth and ideals had become. When disputes arose between neighboring communities, the elder brother advocated for solutions based on careful investigation of facts, determining who had acted wrongly and applying consequences accordingly, even when such judgments were painful or unpopular. The younger brother preferred to seek resolutions that honored the highest aspirations of all parties, looking for ways to transform conflict into opportunities for growth and understanding, sometimes overlooking immediate practical considerations in favor of longer term idealistic goals. As these differences accumulated over months and years, the brothers found themselves engaging in increasingly heated discussions about the proper path forward for their people. Each remained convinced that his approach held the key to lasting peace and prosperity, and each grew more frustrated with what he perceived as his brother's inability to see the obvious wisdom of his position. The great dragon, still sharing his power equally between the two brothers, began to feel the strain of their growing discord. The harmonious balance that had once characterized their relationship was giving way to tension and opposition, and this fundamental shift in the relationship between truth and ideals began to manifest in the dragon's own being. Where once it had embodied perfect unity, now it experienced the pull of conflicting forces, each seeking to claim dominance over the whole. The people of their realm, too, began to sense that something was changing in the world around them. The easy prosperity of earlier years became harder to maintain as the brothers' disagreements influenced the very forces that had sustained their civilization. Some citizens found themselves drawn to the elder brother's emphasis on truth and reality, appreciating his commitment to honest assessment and practical solutions. Others were inspired by the younger brother's unwavering dedication to ideals and his belief in the possibility of transcending current limitations through the power of noble vision. As the seasons turned and the brothers' philosophical divide widened into an unbridgeable chasm, the great dragon found itself facing an impossible choice. Its very nature had been shaped by the perfect balance between truth and ideals, but now it was being asked to choose between them, to declare one aspect of existence more valuable than the other. The dragon's ancient wisdom recognized that such a choice would fundamentally alter not only its own being, but the very fabric of reality itself. The crisis reached its inevitable culmination on a day when the brothers finally acknowledged that their differences could no longer be reconciled through discussion or compromise. Standing before the great dragon in a place of power where the earth's energy ran deep and strong, they made their fateful request. Each asked the dragon to lend its full support to his vision of the future, to help him create a world shaped entirely by either truth or ideals, abandoning the complex balance that had previously guided their civilization. The great dragon, faced with this impossible demand, made a choice that would echo through all subsequent ages. Rather than selecting one brother over the other, rather than declaring truth superior to ideals, or ideals superior to truth, the dragon chose to divide itself, to separate the unified whole of its being into distinct aspects that could each fully embrace one side of the eternal philosophical divide. In a moment of cosmic significance that sent ripples of change throughout the entire world, the great dragon's body began to separate, its essence splitting along lines of fundamental force and meaning that had been held in perfect tension since the beginning of time itself. The transformation that followed transcended the ordinary boundaries of physical change, becoming something far more profound than mere division of flesh and spirit. As the great dragon's unified form began to separate, the very air around it shimmered with energies that had never before existed independently, forces that had always been held in perfect equilibrium within the dragon's singular being. The process unfolded with a majestic slowness that seemed to stretch time itself, each moment containing eternities of meaning as fundamental aspects of reality reorganized themselves into new configurations. From the portion of the dragon most aligned with the elder brother's pursuit of truth emerged a being of stark white magnificence, its form radiating the pure clarity of absolute reality. This was Reshiram, the vast white Pokémon, whose every feature spoke of unwavering dedication to truth in its most essential form. Its feathered wings caught and reflected light with crystalline precision, each plume a testament to the beauty found in accepting things as they truly are, rather than as one might wish them to be. The blue eyes that gazed from its noble head held depths of understanding that came from seeing through illusion and pretense to the core of genuine existence. Where Reshiram moved, the air itself seemed to become clearer, as if the dragon's presence burned away the veils that normally obscure perception, revealing the authentic nature of all things within its influence. Simultaneously, from the aspect of the dragon most closely connected to the younger brother's devotion to ideals, there crystallized a being of commanding darkness, whose power spoke not of shadow or evil, but of the profound depths where the highest aspirations take root and grow toward manifestation. This was Zekrom, the deep black Pokémon, whose form embodied the tremendous force required to transform vision into reality against all obstacles and limitations. Its sleek black hide seemed to absorb and transform the light around it, not extinguishing illumination, but rather converting it into something deeper and more purposeful. The red eyes that burned within its powerful frame held the intensity of absolute commitment, the unwavering focus needed to pursue noble goals, regardless of temporary setbacks or the resistance of those who lack sufficient imagination to see beyond current circumstances. But the division was not complete with the emergence of these two magnificent beings, for something remained of the original dragon's essence, something that could not be fully claimed by either truth or ideals alone. This remnant, this hollow shell of what had once been perfect unity, became Kyurem, the boundary Pokémon whose ice-covered form spoke of the emptiness that exists, holding within its frozen depths the echo of what had been and the possibility of what might someday be restored. The three brothers, who had once sought the dragon's unified wisdom, now found themselves each bonded to one aspect of the great being's divided nature. The elder brother, his pursuit of truth, now supported by Reshiram's blazing clarity, discovered that his ability to perceive and reveal reality had been magnified beyond his previous understanding. Through his partnership with the vast white Pokémon, he could cut through deception and reveal hidden truths with devastating effectiveness. But he also began to realize that truth without the tempering influence of noble ideals could become harsh and unforgiving, capable of destroying as easily as it illuminated. The younger brother, his dedication to ideals, now amplified by Zekrom's tremendous power, found himself able to pursue his vision of perfect society with unprecedented force and determination. The deep black Pokémon's energy allowed him to overcome obstacles that had previously seemed insurmountable, to inspire others with the compelling force of pure conviction. But gradually, he came to understand that ideals pursued without grounding in truth could lead to fanaticism and the imposition of vision upon unwilling reality. The third brother, witnessing the transformation of his siblings and the division of the great dragon, found himself drawn to Kyurem, recognizing in the boundary Pokemon's incomplete form a reflection of his own position between the two extremes. Through his connection with Kyurem, he began to comprehend the true cost of the separation, understanding that while his brothers had each gained tremendous power, something irreplaceable had been lost in the process of division. As the years passed following this great sundering, the land of Unova itself began to reflect the change in its guardian spirits. Where once there had been seamless harmony between the practical and the visionary, now there arose distinct regions where one influence or the other held sway. Cities emerged that embodied pure efficiency and rational organization, their inhabitants dedicated to the pursuit of objective truth and empirical understanding. Other settlements grew around the principle of noble aspiration, their people committed to the realization of grand visions, regardless of immediate practical considerations. The natural world, too, responded to the presence of the separated dragons, with certain areas becoming places where Reshiram's influence encouraged the growth of plants and the behavior of wild Pokémon that reflected absolute honesty in their interactions with their environment. These regions became known for the clarity of their waters, the pure quality of their air, and the straightforward nature of the relationships between different species. In contrast, other areas fell under Zekrom's sway, becoming places where the very landscape seemed to pulse with transformative energy, where evolution occurred more rapidly and dramatically, where the impossible became possible through the sheer force of directed will and unwavering commitment to change. But it was in the places touched by Kyurem's presence that perhaps the most profound effects could be observed, for these became regions of eternal winter, not the comfortable cold of natural seasonal change, but the deep freeze of suspended possibility. Here, time itself seemed to slow, preserving moments and memories in crystalline perfection while waiting for some future reconciliation that might restore warmth and movement to the frozen landscape of broken unity. The people of Unova, adapting to their transformed world, developed new traditions and practices that reflected their relationship with the divided dragon spirits. Some communities aligned themselves primarily with the pursuit of truth, establishing institutions dedicated to research, investigation, and the systematic uncovering of factual knowledge. These societies prized honesty above all other virtues and developed sophisticated methods for distinguishing between genuine understanding and mere opinion or wishful thinking. Other communities chose to organize themselves around the pursuit of ideals, creating cultures that celebrated vision, imagination, and the courage to attempt the seemingly impossible. These societies became centers of innovation and artistic expression, places where individuals were encouraged to dream beyond the limitations of current reality and to work toward the manifestation of their highest aspirations. Yet, even as these separate paths developed their own rich traditions and achieved remarkable successes within their chosen domains, there remained among the wisest inhabitants of Unova an awareness that something essential had been lost, a recognition that the division of the great dragon had created not only new possibilities, but also new limitations. The stories passed down through generations spoke of a time when truth and ideals had existed in perfect harmony, when the tension between accepting reality and transforming it had been a source of creative energy rather than divisive conflict. These ancient memories, preserved in oral tradition and sacred texts, kept alive the possibility that the separation need not be permanent, that someday the three aspects of the original dragon might find a way to reunite and restore the perfect balance that had once blessed the world with unprecedented prosperity and wisdom. The legends that emerged from these early periods of separation began to take on increasingly complex and nuanced forms as generations passed, and the initial shock of the division gave way to a deeper understanding of its implications. Storytellers across Unova developed elaborate mythologies that attempted to explain not only how the great dragon had come to be divided, but also what might be required to bring about its eventual reunification. These tales spoke of cosmic cycles that extended far beyond human lifespans, of conditions that would need to align across multiple dimensions of existence before the three aspects could safely merge once again without causing the kind of catastrophic disruption that had led to their original separation. The most persistent of these legends suggested that the reunion would require the emergence of individuals who could embody the essential qualities represented by each of the three dragons, while maintaining perfect balance among them. Heroes who could pursue truth without becoming rigid in their thinking, champion ideals without losing touch with practical reality, and embrace the void of infinite possibility without being paralyzed by endless potential choices. As centuries passed and the immediate memory of the original dragon faded into the realm of myth, the three separated entities began to develop their own distinct personalities and approaches to interacting with the world around them. Reshiram, embodying the principle of truth, became known for its unwavering commitment to factual accuracy and its ability to see through deception and self-delusion with the clarity of its brilliant white flame. Those who encountered this majestic being in their dreams or visions reported experiences of profound revelation, moments when long-held misconceptions were burned away in the pure light of understanding, leaving behind only the essential core of what was genuinely real and verifiable. Yet this gift of clarity came with its own challenges, for truth without compassion could be harsh and unforgiving, and many who sought Reshiram's wisdom found themselves confronting uncomfortable realities about themselves and their world that they had previously preferred to ignore or rationalize away. Zekrom, by contrast, manifested as a force of dynamic transformation and unwavering determination, its dark form crackling with the electrical energy of pure possibility made manifest through focused will. This legendary being became associated with moments of revolutionary change, with the courage required to challenge established systems and the strength needed to persist in the face of seemingly impossible odds. Those touched by Zekrom's influence often found themselves compelled to action, driven by visions of what could be rather than acceptance of what currently was. The electrical storms that accompanied Zekrom's presence were said to charge the very air with potential, creating conditions where ordinary limitations seemed to dissolve, and individuals discovered capabilities they had never known they possessed. However, this gift of transformative power also carried inherent risks, for ideals pursued without grounding in truth could lead to fanaticism and destructive obsession, causing well-intentioned efforts to create positive change to spiral into chaos and unintended consequences. Kyurem, the most enigmatic of the three, remained largely withdrawn from direct interaction with human affairs, dwelling in the frozen reaches where the boundaries between dimensions grew thin and unstable. This ice-type dragon became known as the Keeper of the Void, the guardian of infinite potential that had not yet crystallized into any specific form. Unlike its counterparts, Kyurem rarely revealed itself to mortals, preferring to work through subtle influences that manifested as moments of profound stillness, spaces of silence where new possibilities could emerge from the depths of emptiness. The few who claimed to have encountered Kyurem directly described experiences of overwhelming vastness, of standing at the edge of an infinite abyss that contained every possible future, while simultaneously holding none of them as fixed or certain. These encounters often left individuals fundamentally changed, possessed of a deep understanding of impermanence and a heightened sensitivity to the delicate balance required to maintain stability in a world built upon the foundation of constant change. The separation of the original dragon had created not only three distinct legendary beings, but also a fundamental alteration in the spiritual landscape of Unova itself. The region's natural energy patterns, once unified and flowing in harmonious circuits throughout the land, now exhibited three distinct currents that sometimes complemented each other and sometimes created areas of tension and instability where different influences met and clashed. These confluence points became sites of particular significance, places where the effects of the ancient division could be most clearly observed, and where sensitive individuals might catch glimpses of what the world had been like before the Great Sundering. Some of these locations became sacred sites, carefully tended by communities that understood their significance and worked to maintain the delicate equilibrium necessary to prevent the conflicting energies from causing environmental disruption or temporal anomalies. The Pokemon species that inhabited Unova gradually adapted to this transformed spiritual environment, with many developing characteristics that reflected their alignment with one or another aspect of the divided dragon's nature. Species drawn to truth became known for their exceptional perceptual abilities and their resistance to illusion-based attacks, while those influenced by the ideal-seeking energy developed enhanced capacity for growth and adaptation, often exhibiting unusual evolutionary patterns that defied conventional biological understanding. Perhaps most intriguingly, certain Pokemon seem to embody aspects of Kyurem's void nature, displaying abilities that touched upon dimensional manipulation or temporal distortion, though these powers remained largely dormant except in moments of extreme crisis or profound transformation. Those evolutionary adaptations created a rich ecosystem where the philosophical divisions that had separated the original dragon were reflected in the very biology of the region's inhabitants, making Unova itself a living testament to the ongoing influence of the ancient division. The human communities of Unova, observing these patterns in their Pokemon companions, began to develop training methodologies and battle strategies that reflected their understanding of the threefold nature of power that now shaped their world. Trainers who aligned themselves with the pursuit of truth focused on developing deep bonds with their Pokemon based on mutual understanding and honest communication, creating teams that functioned with remarkable precision and coordination. Those who embraced the path of ideals emphasized growth and transformation in their training approach, pushing both themselves and their Pokemon to exceed previous limitations and achieve seemingly impossible feats through sheer determination and creative problem solving. A smaller number of individuals, drawn to the mysteries associated with Kyurem's influence, pursued more esoteric training methods that emphasized balance and the cultivation of potential energy, working with Pokemon whose abilities touched upon the fundamental forces that maintained reality's stability. These different approaches to Pokemon training gradually gave rise to distinct regional traditions and schools of thought that influenced everything from architectural styles to agricultural practices throughout Unova. Cities aligned with truth-seeking values tended toward geometric precision in their design, with buildings constructed according to mathematical principles that reflected the underlying order of natural law. Communities inspired by ideal pursuing philosophy created more organic and adaptive urban environments, structures that could be modified and expanded as needed to accommodate changing circumstances and evolving visions of perfect community life. The settlements that developed under Kyurem's subtle influence often exhibited the most unusual characteristics, with architecture that seemed to shift subtly depending upon the observer's perspective, and public spaces designed to facilitate meditation and contemplation of infinite possibility. These environmental differences created a rich tapestry of human culture across Unova, each region developing its own distinctive character while remaining connected to the others through shared history and that underlying unity that persisted despite the surface level divisions created by the dragon's separation. The interweaving of human culture with the lingering essence of the divided dragon manifested in countless subtle ways throughout daily life in Unova, creating patterns of behavior and thought that would persist for generations. Children born in regions where Reshiram's influence was strongest often displayed an early fascination with puzzles and logical problems, spending hours arranging objects in perfect symmetrical patterns or attempting to understand the mechanical workings of simple devices. These young minds seemed naturally drawn to questions of cause and effect, frequently asking their parents and teacher to explain not just what happened, but why things occurred in the precise manner they did. Their games often involved elaborate rules and careful attention to fairness, with disputes settled through reasoned discussion rather than arbitrary authority. In contrast, children growing up under Zekrom's influence exhibited remarkable creativity and an instinctive drive toward innovation, constructing fantastical structures from whatever materials they could find and inventing new games that pushed the boundaries of what their friends thought possible. These youngsters displayed an almost magnetic attraction to stories of heroism and transformation, often creating elaborate narratives where ordinary individuals achieved extraordinary things through courage and determination. Their play frequently involved dramatic scenarios where they reimagined their world according to their evolving visions of how things could be better, fairer, or more beautiful than the current reality allowed. The children influenced by Kyurem's presence developed along different trajectories entirely, often displaying an unusual comfort with contradiction and paradox that both fascinated and occasionally concerned their elders. These young people seemed naturally inclined toward meditation and quiet observation, spending long periods simply watching the interplay of light and shadow, or listening to the subtle variations in natural sounds that others might overlook entirely. They possessed an intuitive understanding of balance that manifested in their ability to mediate disputes between their peers, not by choosing sides, but by helping others recognize the partial truth contained within opposing viewpoints. Their questions often touched upon the deepest philosophical mysteries, inquiring about the nature of existence itself, or wondering aloud about what might exist in the spaces between thoughts or in the pause between one moment and the next. As these children matured into adults, their early influences shaped their chosen professions and life paths in ways that reinforced the cultural patterns established by the dragon's division. Those touched by Reshiram's essence often became scholars, engineers, judges, or researchers, dedicating their lives to uncovering truth and establishing systems based on careful observation and logical analysis. They founded libraries that preserved knowledge with meticulous accuracy, constructed bridges and buildings that stood as monuments to mathematical precision, and developed legal frameworks that sought to ensure justice through consistent application of rational principles. Their contributions to society emphasized reliability, consistency, and the gradual accumulation of verified knowledge that could serve as a foundation for future generations to build upon. Adults shaped by Zekrom's influence gravitated toward roles as artists, inventors, leaders, and reformers, channeling their natural drive for transformation into efforts that reshaped their communities according to evolving visions of improvement. They established workshops where new technologies were developed and tested, created artistic movements that challenged conventional aesthetic assumptions, and led social initiatives aimed at addressing inequality and expanding opportunities for those who had been overlooked by existing systems. Their work emphasized possibility over precedent, focusing on what could be achieved rather than what had been accomplished before, and their willingness to take calculated risks often resulted in breakthrough innovations that benefited entire communities. Those individuals, influenced by Kyurem's void-touched nature, often found their calling in roles that required synthesis and integration, serving as counselors, philosophers, spiritual guides, or keepers of ancient traditions. They established meditation centers and contemplative gardens where people could retreat from the demands of daily life to reconnect with deeper sources of wisdom and understanding. Their approach to problem solving involved holding multiple perspectives simultaneously without rushing toward premature resolution, allowing complex situations to reveal their own natural solutions through patient observation and careful attention to underlying patterns. Their presence in communities often served as a stabilizing force during periods of intense change or conflict, providing a calm center around which others could orient themselves while navigating uncertainty. The Pokémon native to these culturally distinct regions evolved behavioral patterns and abilities that reflected their human companions' approaches to life and problem solving. Pokémon living alongside truth seekers developed heightened analytical capabilities, learning to assess situations with remarkable precision and respond with actions calculated to produce specific, predictable outcomes. These Pokémon often displayed an unusual ability to detect deception or inconsistency, becoming valuable partners for individuals whose work required careful evaluation of evidence or testimony. Their battle techniques emphasized efficiency and strategic thinking, with moves executed at precisely the right moment to achieve maximum effectiveness while minimizing unnecessary energy expenditure. Pokémon raised in communities dedicated to pursuing ideals showed exceptional adaptability and creative problem-solving abilities, often developing unique variations of standard techniques that reflected their trainers' innovative approaches to challenges. These Pokémon seemed naturally inclined toward cooperation and mutual support, forming complex social hierarchies within their groups that emphasized collective achievement over individual dominance. Their abilities often manifested in unexpected ways during crucial moments, as if their exposure to idealistic thinking had enhanced their capacity for transcending normal limitations when the situation demanded extraordinary effort. The Pokémon influenced by Kyurem's presence exhibited the most mysterious characteristics, displaying abilities that seemed to touch upon fundamental forces of nature in ways that defied easy categorization. These Pokemon often showed an unusual sensitivity to dimensional fluctuations or temporal anomalies, becoming restless or agitated in locations where the fabric of reality had been stressed or damaged by past events. Their powers frequently involved manipulation of space or time on subtle scales, allowing them to perceive potential futures or access memories embedded in physical objects. During battles, these Pokemon sometimes demonstrated an uncanny ability to anticipate their opponent's actions several moves in advance, as if they possessed some form of limited prescience that allowed them to navigate the branching possibilities of combat with supernatural grace. The geographic distribution of these culturally and biologically distinct communities created natural trade routes and communication networks that connected different regions while preserving their individual characteristics. Merchants traveling between truth aligned cities and ideal pursuing settlements often served as cultural ambassadors, sharing innovations and perspectives that enriched both communities without diminishing their essential differences. These trade relationships fostered a form of healthy competition where each region strived to excel in their chosen areas of focus while remaining curious about and respectful toward alternative approaches developed by their neighbors. Religious and spiritual practices throughout Unova reflected this threefold division in ways that emphasized harmony rather than conflict between different philosophical approaches. Temples dedicated to truth seeking provided spaces for contemplation and study where individuals could engage in careful examination of sacred texts and philosophical questions through disciplined intellectual inquiry. Shrines honoring the pursuit of ideals offered venues for celebration and community gathering, where people came together to share visions of positive transformation and commit themselves to collective action aimed at realizing these possibilities. Sacred spaces touched by Kyurem's influence served as neutral ground where adherents of different traditions could meet for dialogue and mutual understanding, recognizing that ultimate truth likely transcended any single perspective or approach. The seasonal cycles in Unova took on special significance as communities learned to recognize the subtle ways that changing weather patterns reflected the ongoing influence of the three aspects of the original dragon. Spring brought renewed energy that seemed to resonate with Zekrom's transformative power, inspiring communities to begin new projects and pursue ambitious goals with fresh determination. Summer's intense clarity and brightness echoed Reshiram's truth-revealing nature, making it an ideal time for research, analysis, and the careful examination of complex problems that required sustained intellectual focus. Autumn's balanced transition between extremes reflected Kyurem's synthesizing influence, encouraging reflection on the year's experiences and the integration of lessons learned through both success and failure. Winter's contemplative stillness provided space for deep meditation and the cultivation of inner wisdom that would inform decisions and actions in the cycle to come. These seasonal observances gradually evolved into regional festivals and ceremonies that celebrated the ongoing presence of the divided dragon's influence while acknowledging the essential unity that persisted beneath surface level differences, creating a cultural calendar that honored both diversity and underlying connection throughout the year. The agricultural practices that developed throughout Unova reflected this deep attunement to seasonal rhythms and the threefold nature of draconic influence, with farming communities developing sophisticated crop rotation systems that maximized both yield and soil health through careful attention to the subtle energies that flowed through the land at different times of year. Fields dedicated to grains and cereals were typically planted during periods when Reshiram's clarifying influence was strongest, as these crops required precise timing and careful observation of soil conditions to achieve optimal germination and growth. Orchards and fruit trees flourished under Zekrom's transformative energy, their ability to convert sunlight and nutrients into sweet abundance, seeming to echo the idealistic dragon's power to manifest positive change through sustained effort and vision. Root vegetables and hardy perennials thrived in areas where Kyurem's balancing presence was most keenly felt, their deep connection to the earth and ability to store energy through difficult seasons, reflecting the ice dragon's role as a stabilizing force that maintained continuity through periods of transition and change. These agricultural traditions created a natural calendar of community activities that brought people together for planting, tending, and harvesting in ways that reinforced social bonds while honoring the cosmic forces that made their shared prosperity possible. The development of distinctive architectural styles throughout different regions of Unova provided another avenue through which communities expressed their connection to particular aspects of the original dragon's legacy while creating living spaces that supported their chosen ways of life. Cities aligned with truth-seeking principles favored clean lines and geometric precision in their building designs, creating structures that emphasize clarity of purpose and efficient use of space through careful attention to proportion and mathematical relationships. Public buildings in these communities often featured large windows and open floor plans that maximized natural light and promoted transparency in governance and social interaction. Libraries and research institutions became central focal points of urban planning, designed as welcoming spaces where knowledge could be freely shared and intellectual inquiry could flourish without artificial barriers or restrictions. The materials chosen for construction in truth-aligned regions tended towards stone and metal, substances that could withstand the test of time while maintaining their essential properties and structural integrity across generations of use and weather. Communities inspired by idealistic visions developed architectural approaches that emphasized organic curves and flowing forms, creating buildings that seemed to grow naturally from their surroundings while incorporating innovative features designed to improve quality of life for residents and visitors alike. These structures often featured gardens and green spaces integrated directly into their design, blurring the boundaries between interior and exterior environments, in ways that promoted harmony between human habitation and natural ecosystems. Public spaces in ideal pursuing settlements were designed to facilitate gathering and celebration, with amphitheaters, plazas, and community centers that could accommodate large groups while maintaining intimate scales that encouraged personal connection and meaningful interaction. The construction materials favored in these regions included wood and earth based substances that could be shaped and modified as community needs evolved, allowing buildings to adapt and transform over time rather than remaining fixed in their original configurations. Areas where Kyurem's influence was most strongly felt developed architectural traditions that skillfully combined elements from both other approaches, creating hybrid structures that demonstrated how apparent opposites could be synthesized into harmonious wholes without losing their distinctive characteristics. These buildings often featured stone foundations that provided stability and permanence, supporting upper levels constructed from more flexible materials that could accommodate seasonal changes and evolving community requirements. The design principles employed in these synthesis oriented regions emphasized balance and proportion while incorporating both geometric precision and organic flow in ways that created spaces suitable for diverse activities and multiple user groups. Sacred architecture in Kyurem influenced areas often included meditation gardens and contemplation spaces where visitors could experience the profound stillness that came from recognizing the underlying unity that connected all apparently separate phenomena. The artistic traditions that flourished throughout Unova during this period reflected the same threefold division while demonstrating the creative possibilities that emerged when different philosophical approaches were allowed to develop fully according to their own internal logic. Truth aligned communities produced works of remarkable technical precision and intellectual sophistication, creating sculptures, paintings, and musical compositions that explored complex mathematical relationships and scientific principles through aesthetic expression. These artworks often served educational purposes, helping viewers and listeners develop deeper appreciation for the elegant patterns and natural laws that governed physical reality, while inspiring continued inquiry into the fundamental nature of existence. The aesthetic principles that guided truth focused art emphasized clarity, accuracy, and the faithful representation of observed phenomena, creating works that could serve as reliable records of natural processes and cultural practices for future generations to study and learn from. Ideal pursuing regions developed artistic movements characterized by bold experimentation and visionary imagination, producing works that challenged conventional boundaries while inspiring viewers to envision new possibilities for personal and social transformation. These creative expressions often incorporated symbolic elements and metaphorical imagery that pointed toward potential futures rather than simply documenting present circumstances, serving as catalysts for positive change through their ability to make abstract concepts tangible and emotionally compelling. The collaborative nature of much ideal aligned art reflected these communities' commitment to collective action and shared vision, with large scale murals, community theater productions, and musical festivals that brought diverse groups together in creative endeavors that strengthened social bonds while celebrating common aspirations and values. The synthesis-oriented artistic traditions that emerged in Kyurem-influenced regions demonstrated remarkable sophistication in their ability to combine elements from both other approaches while creating works that transcended simple combination to achieve genuine integration and unity. These hybrid art forms often explored themes of balance, transformation, and the dynamic relationships between opposing forces, creating pieces that revealed new dimensions of meaning through their skillful navigation of paradox and apparent contradiction. The contemplative quality that characterized much synthesis focused art provided viewers with opportunities for deep reflection and inner exploration, encouraging the development of wisdom and understanding that could inform decision making and guide personal growth throughout life's various challenges and transitions. The educational systems that developed in different regions of Unova reflected these same philosophical orientations while ensuring that young people received comprehensive preparation for adult life, regardless of their community's particular emphasis or approach. Truth aligned schools focused heavily on empirical observation, logical reasoning, and the systematic accumulation of verified knowledge through disciplined study and careful experimentation. Students in these institutions learned to value accuracy, precision, and intellectual honesty while developing skills in research methodology, data analysis, and critical thinking that would serve them well in whatever careers or life paths they eventually chose to pursue. The curriculum in truth focused schools typically included extensive study of mathematics, natural sciences, and history, with particular attention paid to understanding cause and effect relationships and the reliable patterns that governed natural and social phenomena. Ideal pursuing educational communities emphasized creativity, collaboration, and the development of vision and leadership skills that would enable students to contribute meaningfully to positive social transformation throughout their lives. These schools often incorporated project-based learning approaches that allowed students to work together on real-world challenges while developing practical skills and gaining direct experience in turning abstract ideas into concrete results. The curriculum in ideal-aligned institutions typically included arts, social sciences, and philosophy, with particular emphasis on understanding human nature, social dynamics, and the various ways that individuals and communities could work together to create beneficial change and improved conditions for all members of society. Educational institutions in Kyurem-influenced regions developed integrated approaches that skillfully combined elements from both other traditions while helping students develop the wisdom and discernment necessary to navigate complex situations where multiple valid perspectives might apply simultaneously. The synthesis-oriented schools taught students to appreciate both the value of careful observation and the importance of visionary thinking, helping them develop flexible mental frameworks that could accommodate apparently contradictory information while maintaining coherent worldviews and ethical principles. The curriculum in these balanced institutions typically included elements from all major academic disciplines, with particular attention paid to understanding relationships, patterns, and the dynamic processes through which knowledge and understanding continued to evolve and develop over time. In Unova, the very concept of governance and societal structure was deeply intertwined with these foundational philosophical differences, manifesting in distinct approaches to law, economics, and community organization. Imagine, if you will, the early days of the Unovan civilization, where the followers of Reshiram, driven by a profound respect for empirical truth and objective reality, established societies often characterized by meticulous record keeping, codified laws, and a strong emphasis on justice as a blind, impartial application of established rules. Their legal systems were designed to be transparent, predictable, and based on verifiable evidence. Disputes were resolved through reasoned debate, careful examination of facts, and adherence to precedents. The economy in these truth-aligned societies often revolved around efficient resource management, scientific agriculture, and the development of technologies that improved material conditions through innovative and logical applications of understanding. They valued craftsmanship, precision, and the systematic improvement of processes. There was a strong belief that a well-ordered society was one built upon a foundation of verifiable facts and logical principles, where every individual contributed to the collective good through their diligent pursuit of knowledge and their honest labor. Conversely, societies influenced by Zekrom, the embodiment of ideals and aspirations, developed governmental structures that prioritized collective vision, social harmony, and the pursuit of a better future. Their laws, while still present, were often more flexible, designed to adapt to evolving societal needs and to promote fairness and equity, sometimes even at the expense of strict adherence to precedent. Justice in these communities was often viewed through the lens of restorative practices, focusing on healing and reintegration rather than purely punitive measures. The economy was driven by collaborative projects, artistic expression, and the pursuit of grand, ambitious undertakings that often challenged the status quo. They valued innovation, creativity, and the power of collective action to transform the world. There was a pervasive sense that society was a dynamic entity, always striving towards an improved state, and that governance should facilitate this ongoing journey of progress and aspiration. Leaders in these ideal-oriented communities were often charismatic visionaries who could inspire their people toward shared goals, fostering a strong sense of unity and purpose. The regions where Kyurem's influence was most pronounced, however, saw the emergence of governance models that sought to synthesize these seemingly divergent approaches. Here, laws were crafted with both precision and adaptability in mind, recognizing the need for stability while also allowing for growth and evolution. Justice systems often incorporated elements of both factual investigation and restorative dialogue, seeking not only to determine truth, but also to understand underlying motivations and to foster reconciliation. The economy in these synthesis-focused societies was often characterized by a balanced approach, valuing both efficiency and innovation, stability and progress. They understood that both empirical reality and aspirational ideals were crucial for a thriving society, and their governance structures were designed to navigate the dynamic interplay between these forces. Decision-making processes in these regions often involved extensive deliberation, seeking to integrate diverse perspectives and to find solutions that honored both factual constraints and aspirational goals. These societies often developed complex systems of checks and balances, recognizing the potential pitfalls of both rigid dogma and unbridled idealism, and striving instead for a resilient and adaptable social order. This philosophical divergence also extended into the realms of art, literature, and even the very language spoken across Unova. In truth aligned regions, artistic expression often favored realism, detailed depiction, and narrative clarity. Their stories were often historical accounts, scientific treatises, or meticulously crafted narratives that explored cause and effect, human nature, and the intricacies of the natural world. Language itself was valued for its precision, its ability to convey exact meaning, and its capacity to describe reality with accuracy. Poetry might focus on natural phenomena, scientific observations, or the logical unfolding of events. Architecturally, buildings in these areas often reflected functionality, structural integrity, and clean, unadorned lines, emphasizing utility and durability. In contrast, the ideal seeking communities expressed themselves through art that was often symbolic, abstract, and focused on emotion, aspiration, and the imaginative exploration of possibilities. Their literature championed epic tales of heroism, philosophical allegories, and narratives of transformation and transcendence. Language was celebrated for its evocative power, its ability to inspire, and its capacity to convey complex emotions and abstract concepts. Poetry might explore themes of hope, dreams, and the boundless potential of the human spirit. Architecture in these regions often featured grand, ornate structures, soaring spires, and intricate designs, all intended to inspire awe and reflect the lofty aspirations of the community. Public spaces were often designed to facilitate communal gatherings and celebrations, fostering a sense of shared purpose and collective identity. The synthesis-oriented regions, under Kyurem's subtle influence, developed artistic and linguistic traditions that skillfully blended these two approaches. Their art might depict realistic scenes imbued with profound symbolic meaning, or abstract forms that nonetheless evoked a sense of grounded reality. Their literature often explored paradoxes, the interplay of opposing forces, and the nuanced complexities of human experience, finding beauty in the gray areas and the ever-shifting landscape between truth and ideal. Language in these communities was prized for its flexibility, its capacity to articulate both precise facts and profound emotions, and its ability to bridge different perspectives. Poetry might explore the interplay of light and shadow, the tension between what is and what could be, finding harmony in apparent contradictions. Architecture often combined robust functionality with aesthetic grace, creating structures that were both practical and inspiring, reflecting a balanced appreciation for both the tangible and the aspirational. Thus, artistic expressions often served as a means of communal reflection, encouraging introspection and a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of all things. Even the popular sports and pastimes of these different regions reflected these underlying philosophical leanings. In truth-focused areas, games often involved strategy, analytical thinking, and the meticulous application of rules. Chess-like games, puzzles, and endurance challenges that tested physical and mental limits through systematic effort were popular. Success was often measured by objective metrics and clear outcomes. The focus was on mastering existing structures and optimizing performance within defined parameters. Ideal driven communities, on the other hand, favored games that emphasized creativity, teamwork, and the pursuit of ambitious, often spectacular goals. Performance arts, team sports that celebrated daring maneuvers and collective spirit, and activities that encouraged imaginative problem solving were common. Success was often defined by the impact on the audience, the beauty of the execution, or the sheer audacity of the attempt. The focus was on pushing boundaries and creating novel experiences. Kyurem influenced regions, true to their nature, embraced activities that combined elements of both. They might enjoy sports that required both strategic planning and spontaneous creative play, or games that tested individual skill within a cooperative team framework. Their pastimes often encouraged participants to develop both analytical rigor and imaginative flexibility, fostering a holistic approach to recreation and personal development. These activities often served as metaphors for navigating the complexities of life itself, requiring participants to adapt, innovate, and find balance amidst dynamic challenges. As Unova continued to evolve, the interactions between these distinct philosophical traditions led to periods of both tension and profound growth. The truth seekers, with their emphasis on empirical evidence, sometimes viewed the idealists as impractical or prone to flights of fancy, while the idealists, with their focus on transformation, occasionally saw the truth seekers as rigid or resistant to progress. These differences, however, were not inherently destructive. Instead, they often spurred innovation and deeper understanding. The debates between these factions were not merely arguments, but rather a dialectical process where opposing viewpoints challenged each other to refine their perspectives, leading to more comprehensive and nuanced understandings of the world. For example, a truth-focused agricultural community might develop highly efficient farming techniques based on scientific research and detailed observation of soil conditions and crop cycles. An ideal focused community, however, might dream of creating entirely new, sustainable food sources, or transforming barren lands into fertile oases through innovative, perhaps even mystical, means. When these two approaches interacted, the result could be truly remarkable. Scientific farming methods enhanced by visionary insights, or ambitious projects grounded in empirical data, leading to breakthroughs that neither philosophy could have achieved alone. Similarly, in times of conflict or natural disaster, the truth-oriented communities might excel at disaster preparedness, logistical organization, and the systematic allocation of resources based on factual assessments of need. The ideal-oriented communities, meanwhile, might provide crucial moral support, inspire collective resilience, and mobilize volunteers through shared vision and compassionate outreach. The synthesis of these responses, often found in Kyurem-influenced areas, would lead to comprehensive relief efforts that addressed both immediate material needs and the deep emotional and psychological impacts of adversity, showcasing the power of integrating diverse strengths. This constant interplay, this dance between the factual and the aspirational, the observable and the envisioned, was the very engine of Unova's development. It was through this dynamic tension that new technologies emerged, complex social structures were refined, and the understanding of the world deepened. The Unovan people, whether consciously aware of the legend of the original dragon or not, were living out its fractured legacy every single day, seeking to reunite the scattered wisdom of their ancient past in the tapestry of their present and future. The very landscape of Unova, with its diverse biomes and disparate communities, mirrored this philosophical mosaic, a testament to the enduring influence of the Tao Trio. The cold, stark mountain ranges might remind one of Kyurem's desolate power, while the bustling, technologically advanced cities could evoke the organized efficiency of Reshiram's adherents and the vibrant artistic communities, the passionate spirit of Zekrom's followers. Each region, each community, each individual carried within them a fragment of that ancient truth, striving consciously or unconsciously to find balance and meaning in a world shaped by the powerful forces of truth, ideals, and the ever present potential for their harmonious integration. This continuous process of seeking balance and understanding remains a central theme throughout the rich history and ongoing evolution of the Unovan region, a quiet testament to the enduring power of these legendary Pokémon and the profound impact of their story. This profound legacy, woven into the very fabric of Unova, also extends to the physical manifestations of the Tao Trio themselves, particularly in the unique and enigmatic forms of Kyurem. While Reshiram and Zekrom exhibit distinct yet stable appearances, Kyurem is known for its ability to undergo dramatic transformations, most notably through its fusion with either Reshiram or Zekrom. This phenomenon, known as absiffusion, is not merely a cosmetic change, but a fundamental alteration of Kyurem's very being, incorporating aspects of the fused dragon into its own form, power, and even its characteristic cry. Black Kyurem, the result of Kyurem's fusion with Zekrom, is a formidable entity embodying both the raw power of Zekrom and Kyurem's icy desolation. Its physical appearance is striking, featuring prominent elements of Zekrom's design, such as its powerful jet-like wings, robust limbs, and the distinctive turbine-esque tail. However, these features are often encased or interwoven with Kyurem's characteristic icy structures, giving it a menacing, frost-infused look. The blue coloration associated with Zekrom is present, but often tinged with the cold, pale hues of ice, creating a visually compelling fusion. Black Kyurem gains access to Zekrom's electric capabilities, manifesting them through powerful attacks like Fusion Bolt, which crackles with immense electrical energy, and Freeze Shock, a devastating combination of ice and electricity that takes a turn to charge, highlighting its immense power. This form represents a potent blend of truths, ideals, and the inherent emptiness that Kyurem embodies, a being of immense physical strength and destructive potential, capable of overwhelming opponents with sheer force. It symbolizes a truth that has been harnessed and amplified by the raw, untamed power of ideals, a direct and uncompromising force. Conversely, white Kyurem, formed through the fusion of Kyurem and Reshiram, presents a different yet equally awe-inspiring spectacle. Its design incorporates the elegant, feathery wings and flowing tail of Reshiram, but these are still partially encased or adorned with Kyurem's icy crystalline structures. The pristine white associated with Reshiram is dominant, yet interspersed with the cold blues and grays of ice, creating a majestic and ethereal appearance. White Kyurem inherits Reshiram's fiery abilities, unleashing them through devastating attacks like Fusion Flare, a scorching blast of fire, and Ice Burn, a powerful combination of ice and fire that, like Freeze Shock, requires a turn to charge, signifying its extraordinary destructive capacity. This form embodies a different aspect of the Tao Trio's fractured power, combining the logical, truth-seeking nature of Reshiram with Kyurem's inherent void. It represents an ideal that is meticulously crafted and empowered by the unwavering pursuit of truth, a force that can meticulously dismantle and reshape the world with precise and fiery intensity. The very concept of absiffusion itself is a profound piece of lore, suggesting that Kyurem, in his natural state, is an incomplete being, a shell, a literal emptiness that yearns to be filled. The legend states that Kyurem is the husk of the original dragon, the remnant left behind when Reshiram and Zekrom split apart. This suggests that Kyurem is not merely a third dragon, but the very essence of the original's physical form, drained of its spirit, its truth, and its ideals. It is a powerful, yet inherently desolate creature, perpetually seeking to reclaim its lost halves. The act of fusion, therefore, is not a simple transformation, but a temporary reunion, a glimpse into what the original dragon might have been, if only for a fleeting moment. It's a poignant illustration of the idea of incompleteness and the yearning for wholeness, a deep philosophical undercurrent to its existence. The DNA splicers, the enigmatic key item used to initiate absiffusion, further underscore this theme. These devices, described as ancient artifacts, are the only known means to safely and temporarily merge Kyurem with either Reshiram or Zekrom. Their very existence implies a conscious effort in the past, perhaps by the people of the original dragon's era, to understand and potentially control this incredible power. The splicers are not mere tools of brute force. They are intricate mechanisms that facilitate a temporary yet profound merging of essences, suggesting a deep understanding of the dragon's unique biology and metaphysical connection. The process itself is depicted as a complex energy transfer, not a simple physical alteration, further emphasizing the extraordinary nature of these legendary Pokémon. The Getsus Harmonia Gropius storyline in Pokémon Black 2 and White 2 offers a chilling perspective on the potential misuse of this power. Getsus, a character driven by a singular, ruthless ambition to control Unova, seeks to harness Kyurem's power, not for balance or understanding, but for domination. His plan to fuse Kyurem with either Reshiram or Zekrom, depending on the game version, and unleash its devastating power upon Unova is a stark reminder of the destructive potential that arises when such immense forces are wielded without ethical consideration. He aims to freeze Unova, to bring it to its knees, showcasing the terrifying implications of a fragmented ideal or truth being weaponized. His pursuit of Kyurem and his attempts to manipulate its power reveal a profound misunderstanding of its true nature. He sees it as a tool, a weapon, rather than a being with its own unique history and inherent connection to the balance of Unova. The storyline also highlights the importance of the protagonist's role in preventing this catastrophe. By confronting Getsus and ultimately stopping his plans, the player character essentially reestablishes of fragile balance. While the original dragon isn't fully reformed, the immediate threat of its fragmented power being abused is averted. This narrative arc reinforces the idea that true power lies not in control or domination, but in understanding, respect, and the delicate maintenance of balance. The player's journey, much like the ancient heroes of Unova, involves navigating the complexities of truth and ideals and preventing their unbridled clash from leading to destruction. Beyond the major mythological aspects, Kyurem's very presence in the giant chasm is steeped in an almost melancholic grandeur. The giant chasm, a desolate and isolated crater, is said to be the site where the original dragon fell to earth. It is a place of perpetual cold, often shrouded in blizzards, a fitting habitat for the ice dragon that is Kyurem. This location reinforces the idea of Kyurem as a remnant, a solitary figure dwelling in the aftermath of a cataclysmic event. The atmosphere of the giant chasm is one of profound stillness and ancient sorrow, reflecting Kyurem's perceived emptiness and its yearning for completeness. It is a place where the echoes of ancient conflicts still resonate, a stark reminder of the power unleashed when truth and ideals clashed. The cold, unforgiving environment also speaks to Kyurem's inherent nature, a primal, untamed force of nature that can be both beautiful and devastating. The lore surrounding Kyurem also touches upon the concept of the abyssal ruin, a mysterious underwater structure found beneath the giant chasm. While its direct connection to the Tao Trio is not explicitly detailed, its proximity to Kyurem's lair and its ancient, enigmatic nature often lead to speculation about its origins. Some theories suggest it could be a remnant of the civilization that coexisted with the original dragon, perhaps a place of worship or a repository of ancient knowledge. The very existence of such a structure hints at a deeper, more complex history surrounding the Tao Trio, a past that extends beyond the immediate narrative of the twin heroes and their diverging philosophies. It suggests that there were other aspects of the original dragon's era, other mysteries, yet to be fully uncovered, adding another layer of intrigue to an already rich mythology. The distinct elemental typings of the Tao Trio are also deeply symbolic. Reshiram, as a dragon/fire type, represents the illuminating power of truth, which can burn away falsehoods and bring clarity. Fire is often associated with purification, knowledge, and an unyielding light, perfectly aligning with Reshiram's role as the embodiment of truth. Its flames are not destructive for destruction's sake, but rather transformative, capable of refining and revealing. Zekrom, a dragon/electric type, embodies the raw, dynamic force of ideals and the desire for change. Electricity is a powerful, unpredictable, and often revolutionary force. It can spark innovation, energize movements, and bring about swift and dramatic shifts. Zekrom's electric attacks are symbolic of the proactive, forceful nature of ideals, which push boundaries and strive to reshape the world according to a grand vision. Its power is about assertion and the pursuit of a desired future. Kyurem, as a dragon/ice type, represents the absence, the void, the cold aftermath, or perhaps even the potential for a new beginning from a frozen slate. Ice is often associated with stillness, preservation, and a stark, unyielding presence. It can be both destructive in its ability to freeze and shatter, and preservative in its capacity to hold things in stasis. Kyurem's ice powers speak to its nature as a creature of desolation and potential. Its inherent emptiness means it can be filled by either truth or ideals, or it can stand alone as a representation of the raw, unshaped power that remains when a greater whole is broken. Its icy domain in the giant chasm reinforces this connection to a primal, unyielding force, a reminder of the raw power that was left behind after the Great Schism. The interplay of these typings, fire, electric, and ice, further illustrates the profound philosophical divide and the intricate balance within the Tao Trio. Fire and electric, while seemingly opposite, both represent active, dynamic forces. Ice, on the other hand, often represents a more static or destructive force, capable of overwhelming both. When fused, these elements blend in fascinating ways, creating hybrid forms that are more than the sum of their parts. Black Kyurem, with its electric/ice typing, blends the dynamic energy of ideals with the chilling desolation of Kyurem, creating a force that is both electrifyingly powerful and absolutely overwhelming. White Kyurem, with its fire/ice typing, combines the purifying flames of truth with Kyurem's icy essence, resulting in a majestic yet intensely destructive power. These elemental fusions are not just about combat. They are physical manifestations of the philosophical synthesis that occurs when fragmented aspects of the original dragon are temporarily reunited. The ultimate moral of the Tao Trio's story is a timeless one concerning the importance of balance and understanding. The original dragon's power was immense, but its division led to conflict and ultimately a world shaped by its fractured legacy. The heroes of Unova eventually learned that neither truth nor ideals could exist in isolation without consequences. An unyielding adherence to truth without the tempering influence of ideals could lead to a cold, sterile existence devoid of aspiration. Conversely, ideals pursued without grounding in truth could become utopian fantasies, leading to chaos and disillusionment. The path to true progress and harmony in Unova lies in the integration of these two powerful forces, recognizing their inherent value and finding a way for them to coexist and complement each other. Kyurem, in its desolate solitude, serves as a constant reminder of what happens when this delicate balance is shattered, and also as a symbol of the potential for wholeness, the ever-present yearning for a harmonious reunion of truth, ideals, and the raw power that binds them. This enduring narrative, steeped in philosophical depth and mythological grandeur, continues to resonate through the ages, offering a rich tapestry of lore for those who seek to understand the profound history of the Unova region. The legends of the Tao Trio extend beyond their initial division and subsequent philosophical battles. They also delve into the very nature of their forms and abilities, each aspect carefully crafted to reflect their inherent symbolism. Reshiram, the vast white Pokémon, exudes an aura of warmth and light. Its body, covered in pure white fur and feathers, culminates in a magnificent tail that resembles a jet engine, capable of incinerating anything it touches with its scorching flames. This tail is not merely a weapon, it is a visual metaphor for the burning passion of truth, the unyielding desire to uncover and illuminate. Its signature move, Blue Flare, is a spectacular display of its power, a concentrated blast of intense blue fire that speaks to the purity and intensity of its convictions. The blue hue, often associated with spiritual wisdom and calm, adds another layer of meaning to its destructive potential, suggesting that even truth, when wielded without care, can be overwhelmingly powerful. Zekrom, on the other hand, is the deep black Pokémon, a creature of stark contrast to Reshiram. Its body is predominantly black, with sharp, angular features and a powerful turban-like tail that generates immense electrical energy. This tail is a testament to the driving force of ideals, the raw, unbridled power needed to change the world and forge a new future. Its signature move, Bolt Strike, is an incredibly potent electric attack, a thunderous surge of power that embodies the electrifying impact of a grand vision. The contrast in their coloration, white and black, is a deliberate choice, mirroring the ancient concept of yin and yang, where seemingly opposing forces are actually interconnected and interdependent. Reshiram's warmth and light, Zekrom's coolness and darkness, are not merely aesthetic choices, but fundamental expressions of their inherent natures. Kyurem, the boundary Pokémon, stands as a stark anomaly. Its form is incomplete, jagged, and frozen, a stark representation of the void left by the original dragon's splitting. Its icy body, partially encased in what appears to be a broken shell, speaks to its fragmented existence. The ice itself is not merely an elemental typing, it is a symbol of stagnation, of a being trapped in a state of perpetual limbo, yearning for what was lost. Kyurem's signature move, Glaciate, is a chilling blast of frozen energy, reflecting its raw, untamed power and its inherent connection to the desolate, unyielding forces of nature. The stark visual difference between Kyurem and its two counterparts further emphasizes its unique position within the trio, not as a balanced opposing force, but as a wounded, incomplete entity. The lore also details the process of fusion, a truly extraordinary phenomenon that allows Kyurem to temporarily regain aspects of its lost power by merging with either Reshiram or Zekrom. This fusion is not a simple transformation. It is a profound act of reintegration, albeit temporary, that brings forth new forms with vastly amplified capabilities. When Kyurem fuses with Zekrom, it becomes Black Kyurem. In this form, Kyurem's jagged, icy body integrates with Zekrom's powerful electric components, creating a monstrously strong electric/ice type Pokemon. Black Kyurem retains Kyurem's raw power, but gains Zekrom's electrifying dynamism. Its signature move, Freeze Shock, combines the chilling power of ice with a sudden, powerful electric discharge, a perfect representation of the fusion of Kyurem's desolation and Zekrom's ideals. This form embodies the pursuit of ideals without the tempering influence of truth, a powerful but potentially destructive force. Conversely, when Kyurem fuses with Reshiram, it becomes White Kyurem. Here, Kyurem's icy form blends with Reshiram's fiery, pure white characteristics, resulting in a majestic yet formidable fire/ice type. White Kyurem harnesses Kyurem's raw power and Reshiram's purifying flames. Its signature move, Ice Burn, is a devastating attack that combines the searing heat of fire with the freezing power of ice, a potent symbol of truth pursued with overwhelming force, potentially incinerating anything in its path. These fusion forms are not merely powerful new Pokemon, they are living parables, illustrating the consequences of combining these fundamental forces without achieving a true, harmonious balance. They show us what happens when one aspect overwhelms the other, creating a being of immense, unbridled power that is still inherently incomplete, still yearning for the ultimate reunion of all three. The myth of the Tao Trio also speaks to the profound influence these legends have had on the cultural and historical development of the Unova region. The split of the original dragon and the subsequent conflict between its two offspring deeply scarred the land and its people, the twin heroes, founders of Unova. Each championed one side of the philosophical divide, leading to a period of intense strife and division. This foundational conflict, mirroring the inherent human struggle between seeking truth and striving for ideals, shaped Unova's very identity. The castle ruins, the ancient texts, and the very landscape bear witness to these ancient battles. The legend serves as a constant reminder to the people of Unova about the dangers of extremism and the importance of finding common ground. Even in modern times, the legacy of the Tao Trio continues to influence Unova. Organizations like Team Plasma, with their radical ideals of freeing Pokémon from trainers, can be seen as a distorted echo of Zekrom's pursuit of a perfect world. Their single-minded focus on their ideals, ignoring the complex realities of human Pokémon relationships, reflects the potential pitfalls of pursuing ideals without the grounding of truth. Conversely, those who rigidly adhere to tradition and resist change without considering the potential for improvement or evolution could be seen as embodying a less beneficial aspect of Reshiram's absolute truth. The continuous struggle within Unova, the push and pull between progress and tradition, innovation and preservation, is a direct thematic descendant of the original dragon's internal conflict. The existence of the DNA splicers, the ancient artifact that enables the fusion of Kyurem with Reshiram or Zekrom, is a tangible link to this ancient past. This item is not a modern invention. It is a relic, perhaps even a remnant, from the time of the original dragon itself, or created shortly thereafter by those who understood the fragmented nature of Kyurem. Its very existence implies a long-standing desire, perhaps even a hope, for the ultimate reunion of the legendary trio. It suggests that the people of Unova, or at least some among them, have always held the dream of seeing the original dragon made whole again, understanding that its fragmentation led to a profound imbalance in the world. The location of Kyurem, deep within the giant chasm, is also significant. This desolate, icy crater, a place of extreme isolation and harsh beauty, perfectly encapsulates Kyurem's existence. It is a boundary itself, a place where life struggles to thrive, mirroring Kyurem's incomplete and frozen state. The chasm is often depicted as a place of mystery and danger, a fitting home for a Pokémon that represents the raw, untamed power left behind after a world-altering schism. The sheer scale of the chasm also emphasizes the magnitude of the original dragon's power and the devastating impact of its splitting. The narrative of the Tao Trio is not just a tale of powerful legendary Pokémon. It is a profound exploration of philosophical concepts that resonate deeply with the human experience. It delves into the nature of truth, its absolute, often unyielding quality, and its potential to illuminate or to burn. It examines ideals, their inspiring transformative power, and their potential to lead to delusion or conflict if unmoored from reality. And it explores the concept of wholeness and fragmentation, the yearning for completion, the pain of division, and the potential for immense power when disparate elements are brought together, even if only temporarily. The Tao Trio serves as a constant reminder that true strength and harmony lie not in the dominance of one force over another, but in the delicate, dynamic interplay between them. It is a story that invites contemplation, a legend that quietly underscores the importance of balance in all things, leaving a lasting impression on the mind, much like a gentle, lingering dream. The very legends surrounding Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem are interwoven with the fabric of Unovan history, influencing its architecture, its art, and its oral traditions. The twin castles, now ruins, that once symbolized the unified kingdom of the two brothers, are a testament to the profound impact these Pokémon had on the geopolitical landscape of ancient Unova. These structures, though crumbling, still echo the grandeur of a bygone era, the promise of a kingdom built on shared principles, and the tragedy of its eventual division. The architectural styles, though perhaps simplified through the lens of folklore, likely reflected the distinct philosophies that each brother embraced, one favoring elegant, perhaps even austere designs that emphasized intellectual pursuit and clarity, while the other might have preferred more robust, grounded structures that spoke to strength and practical application. The artifacts discovered within these ruins, should they ever be fully unearthed and studied, would undoubtedly reveal more about the relationship between the people and these legendary dragons. Perhaps there would be carvings depicting the original dragon in its complete form, a creature of immense power and serene majesty before its fracturing. Or perhaps there would be early sketches of Reshiram and Zekrom, their forms already distinct, indicating an early understanding or even worship of their individual attributes. The very act of building such monumental structures dedicated to the ideals represented by these dragons speaks to the depth of their influence, suggesting they were seen not merely as powerful beasts, but as embodiments of fundamental truths and aspirations. The wisdom of the Tao Trio extends beyond mere brute force. It delves into the realm of spiritual and philosophical guidance. The teachings that emerged from the conflict, emphasizing balance and understanding, likely formed the bedrock of Unovan's societal values for generations. Even in modern Unova, where technology and progress are celebrated, there remains an underlying respect for these ancient narratives, a subconscious recognition of the enduring power of truth and ideals. This is evident in the general sense of community and the occasional philosophical debates that can be observed in everyday life throughout the region, subtly influenced by the foundational stories of their legendary protectors. Consider the interplay of their typings. Reshiram, a dragon and fire type, embodies the transformative power of flames, capable of both creation and destruction, purification and immolation. Fire, in many mythologies, is a symbol of passion, drive, and enlightenment, aligning perfectly with the pursuit of truth, which often requires a burning desire to uncover hidden knowledge and a willingness to shed old beliefs. Its ability to create fire with its tail, described as being powerful enough to burn the world down, speaks to the absolute and often overwhelming nature of truth. Once revealed, it can fundamentally alter everything. Zekrom, a dragon and electric type, represents the raw, unbridled energy of ideals. Electricity, dynamic and potent, can power innovation and progress, but also deliver a shocking, disruptive force. Ideals, when fully embraced, can inspire revolutions and lead to monumental achievements, but when pursued without caution, can also cause widespread upheaval and conflict. Zekrom's ability to generate electricity from its tail, powerful enough to destroy the world, highlights the immense, almost uncontrollable force that deeply held ideals can unleash upon the world, capable of reshaping it entirely, for better or for worse. Kyurem, the dragon and ice type, stands apart as a stark reminder of the void, the absence, and the raw, untamed power that results from fragmentation. Ice, cold, and unyielding represents stasis, the frozen potential, and the residual power left behind. It is both beautiful and dangerous, reflecting Kyurem's incomplete yet still formidable nature. The ice type also suggests a sense of isolation and detachment, mirroring Kyurem's existence in the desolate giant chasm, a creature yearning for something it has lost, yet bound by the remnants of its past. Its ability to generate cold air and ice speaks to the chilling emptiness and emotional distance that can arise from division and loss. The deep emotional and philosophical resonance of these Pokémon is further amplified by their unique abilities. Reshiram's ability, Turbo Blaze, allows its fire attacks to ignore the opponent's abilities, symbolizing how truth, once it burns brightly, can cut through deception and false pretenses, revealing the unvarnished reality. It suggests that truth has an inherent power to override superficial obstructions. Zekrom's ability, Terravolt, similarly allows its electric attacks to bypass abilities, representing how ideals, when powerfully channeled, can overcome established norms and resistance, forging new paths and challenging the status quo. It speaks to the disruptive and transformative nature of strong ideals, capable of electrifying a movement into action. Kyurem, in its base form, shares the pressure ability with many other powerful legendary Pokémon, indicating its immense presence and the sheer weight of its power, even in its incomplete state. Pressure causes the opponent to use more PP, symbolizing the mental and spiritual toll of facing a being that represents such a fundamental yet fragmented force of nature. It drains the resolve of those who oppose it, hinting at the tiring effect of confronting the sheer, raw power of the original dragon's remnants. When Kyurem fuses with Reshiram to become White Kyurem, it gains the Turbo Blaze ability, inheriting Reshiram's fiery resolve and truth-seeking nature. This fusion represents a partial restoration, where the raw power of the original dragon is imbued with the focused intensity of truth, creating a formidable force that combines destructive ice with purifying flame, a terrifying yet magnificent synthesis. The icy emptiness of Kyurem becomes infused with the blazing clarity of Reshiram. Conversely, when Kyurem fuses with Zekrom to become Black Kyurem, it gains the Terravolt ability, absorbing Zekrom's electric dynamism and idealistic drive. This fusion embodies another aspect of the original dragon's power, where the frozen remnants are energized by the electric spark of ideals, creating a formidable entity that blends chilling ice with electrifying power, a chaotic yet deeply potent combination. The cold void of Kyurem is electrified by the surging energy of Zekrom. These fused forms are not just stronger Pokémon, they are symbolic representations of what might have been or what could be again if the original dragon were to be fully reformed. They are glimpses into the immense, multifaceted power that once existed and the inherent potential that still lies dormant within Kyurem. The act of fusion itself, facilitated by the DNA splicers, is a deeply symbolic process. It is a temporary mending of what was broken, a fleeting moment of wholeness, albeit an incomplete one. It signifies that even in fragmentation, there is a yearning for reunion, a drive towards completion. The DNA splicers are not just a magical item, they are a key, unlocking a deeper understanding of the original dragon's physiology and its inherent ability to merge and separate. This suggests that the original dragon may have possessed a fluid, adaptable nature capable of embodying different aspects of its power without losing its fundamental identity. The splicers merely provide a mechanism for Kyurem to temporarily reclaim some of its lost components, albeit in a controlled and temporary manner. The ancient people who crafted or discovered the splicers must have had an intimate knowledge of the legendary Pokémon, perhaps even observing the original dragon before its division, or at least understanding the scientific and mystical principles behind its power. The story of the Tao Trio also subtly touches upon the concept of destiny versus free will. The two brothers, initially united by a common goal, ultimately diverge due to their differing interpretations of how to achieve it. This choice, driven by their individual personalities and beliefs, sets in motion a chain of events that forever alters the Unovan landscape and gives rise to the legendary dragons we know today. It highlights how even the most noble intentions can lead to unforeseen consequences, and how human choices, even in the presence of divine power, can shape the course of history. The narrative also implies that the dragons themselves, though immensely powerful, are not entirely independent of human influence. Their forms, their typings, as their eventual roles are all, in a sense, reflections of the human ideals and truths they came to represent. They are not merely creatures of power, but embodiments of philosophical concepts made tangible through the epic struggle of the founding brothers. This intertwining of human narrative and legendary power gives the Tao Trio a depth that transcends typical monster lore, elevating it to the realm of myth and allegory. The emotional weight of the story is palpable. The tragedy of the two brothers, once so close, now forever separated by their convictions, mirrors the fragmentation of the original dragon itself. Their conflict, though ultimately leading to division, also led to the birth of two distinct yet equally powerful forces, each representing a fundamental aspect of existence. This bittersweet outcome suggests that even in division, there can be a unique form of beauty and purpose, albeit one tinged with the sadness of what was lost. The enduring legacy of the Tao Trio is not just in their physical presence or their immense power, but in the lessons they impart. They teach us that truth, while essential, can be harsh and unforgiving. They show us that ideals, while inspiring, can be blinding and lead to conflict. And they remind us that true balance lies in the delicate interplay between these powerful forces, a constant dance of opposition and harmony. The very act of observing nature in Unova, seeing the calm yet wild rivers, the towering mountains, in the bustling cities can evoke a sense of this underlying balance, a subtle echo of the foundational myth that shaped the region. The silent, majestic presence of these Pokémon, even when not actively observed, continues to shape the psyche of Unova. They are the guardians of its history, the arbiters of its philosophical debates, and the ever present reminders of the profound power that lies in both unity and division. Their story is a lullaby for the soul, a quiet contemplation on the nature of reality, gently guiding the mind towards a peaceful understanding of the fundamental forces that govern the world, much like the gentle whisper of the wind through ancient ruins, carrying with it the echoes of forgotten tales and timeless wisdom. The separation of the original dragon into Reshiram, Zekrom, and eventually the husk of Kyurem also presents a fascinating philosophical query on the nature of completeness and fragmentation. Was the original dragon truly whole in a way that its fragmented counterparts are not? Or did its division allow for a more nuanced and complex expression of power and philosophy, albeit at the cost of its singular, unified existence? This question lingers, much like a faint scent of an ancient forest, long after the initial telling of the tale. The original dragon, before its schism, was likely a being of immense, perhaps even unimaginable power, possessing a singular consciousness that encompassed both truth and ideals without distinction. It was a force of pure, raw energy, a primordial entity that predated the nuanced philosophical frameworks that humanity would later impose upon it. Its power was not merely the sum of Reshiram's fiery truth and Zekrom's electric ideals, but something far more fundamental, a foundational energy from which all other concepts could spring. When it split, it wasn't just a physical division, but a conceptual one. Reshiram inherited the searing light of truth, the absolute, unyielding clarity that illuminates all things, sometimes painfully so. Its white Kyurem form, when fused, speaks to a reintegration of this truth with the raw, untamed power of the empty vessel, suggesting a merging of pure concept with pure potential. Zekrom, on the other hand, received the surging current of ideals, the aspirations, the hopes, and the dreams that drive progress and change. Its black Kyurem form, similarly, implies a unification of these dynamic ideals with the primordial force, creating a being of immense, directed power. Kyurem, the remaining husk, the empty shell, is perhaps the most enigmatic piece of this puzzle. It represents the absence, the void left behind by the departure of truth and ideals. Yet even in its emptiness, it holds immense, raw power, a primal cold that freezes all it touches. It is that unformed potential, the blank canvas upon which the fragmented dragons can project their essence, creating the fused forms. This suggests that the original dragon wasn't just a powerful entity, but a vessel for these concepts, and Kyurem is the very essence of that vessel, stripped bare. The very act of fusion, then, is an attempt to reclaim a semblance of that original totality. When Reshiram or Zekrom fuse with Kyurem, they are not merely combining their powers, they are re-establishing a connection to that primordial, unformed essence. It's an echo of the original dragon's completeness, a temporary restoration of a lost unity. However, these fusions are never permanent, always requiring the process of separation, implying that the original dragon, once fragmented, cannot truly be whole again in the same way. The scars of division run deep, and the individual identities of Reshiram and Zekrom remain distinct, even when they lend their power to Kyurem. This impermanence of fusion highlights the enduring consequences of the initial schism, a constant reminder that some things, once broken, can never be perfectly mended. The presence of the DNA splicers, the ancient artifact used to facilitate these fusions, further underscores this point. It's a tool, an external mechanism required to force a temporary reunion. It's not a natural process, but rather an intervention, a technological mimicry of what once was a unified being. This suggests that the bond between Kyurem and its brethren is not one of inherent magnetism, but rather a functional relationship, a way to access the immense power that lies dormant within the empty shell. The DNA splicers are a testament to human ingenuity, an attempt to harness and manipulate the legendary power of nature, but also a symbol of the artificiality of trying to recreate a primordial unity that was lost to philosophical conflict. The very landscape of Unova, with its contrasting biomes and dynamic weather patterns, could be seen as a reflection of this Taoist philosophy embodied by the dragons. The lush and fertile regions, alongside the desolate frozen areas around the giant chasm, Kyurem's lair, speak to the interplay of life and death, warmth and cold, creation and stasis. The balance of Unova is not static, but a dynamic equilibrium, constantly shifting and evolving, much like the philosophical debate between truth and ideals. The region itself breathes with the story of the Tao Trio, its every whisper carried on the wind, its every shadow hinting at the ancient powers that shaped its very existence. Consider the relationship between the dragons and the Unovan people. The dragons, though powerful, are not benevolent deities in the traditional sense. They are forces of nature, embodiments of concepts, and their actions are driven by these inherent principles rather than personal will. They do not intervene directly in human affairs unless those affairs directly threaten the balance they represent, or if a strong enough truth or ideal resonates with their very being. This makes them less like gods and more like elemental embodiments of philosophical principles, a nuanced distinction that adds depth to their lore. They are not to be worshipped as much as understood and respected, for their power is immense, and their judgment, if it can be called that, is absolute. The story of the dragons also touches upon the concept of free will and destiny. Were the dragons destined to split, or was their fragmentation a consequence of human choices and conflicting philosophies? The narrative suggests a powerful interplay where the dragons are both reflections of human ideals and independent entities shaping those ideals. It's a cyclical relationship, like the ebb and flow of tides, where cause and effect are intricately interwoven. The dragons influence humanity, and humanity in turn shapes the dragons, a continuous dance that highlights the profound connection between the natural world and the human spirit. The enduring mystery surrounding the original dragon's consciousness, or lack thereof, post-schism, adds another layer of intrigue. Did its consciousness fragment along with its body? Or did it dissipate entirely, leaving behind only the conceptual essences of truth and ideals? The lore doesn't explicitly state, leaving it to the imagination, a gentle invitation to ponder the very nature of existence and consciousness itself. This ambiguity, far from being a weakness, strengthens the narrative, allowing for a deeper, more personal interpretation of the dragon's story. It's a question that whispers in the quiet hours. a gentle puzzle for the pondering mind. The Tao Trio's impact extends beyond Unova, resonating throughout the Pokémon world as a testament to the power of belief and the enduring struggle between differing perspectives. Their story is a universal one, applicable to any culture that grapples with the concepts of truth, ideals, and the complex relationship between them. It is a timeless narrative, much like the stars that slowly drift across the night sky, their silent journeys echoing the vastness of the universe and the enduring mysteries it holds. Their presence in the Pokemon world is not just a source of power, but a source of profound contemplation, a gentle reminder that even the most immense forces are often born from the deepest philosophical questions. The quiet hum of their existence, even in their dormant states, continues to influence the very fabric of reality, a subtle, ethereal presence that shapes the dreams and aspirations of all who dwell within its shadow. Their tale is a calming presence, a reassuring narrative that even in division, there is a complex, beautiful order to the universe. The very landscape of Unova itself bears witness to the dragon's ancient struggles and their lasting legacy. The towering peaks, the winding rivers, and the serene forests all seem to hum with an echo of their immense power, a deep, resonant frequency that permeates the land. Even in modern times, the ruins of castles and ancient structures whisper tales of these legendary Pokémon, their stones imbued with the lingering essence of battles fought and beliefs upheld. Travelers who wander through these historical sites often report a subtle shift in the atmosphere, a feeling of profound history and an almost tangible sense of the past. It's as if the very air remembers, carrying echoes of the dragon's roars and the sage's debates on the wind. The architecture of Unova, particularly in its older towns and cities, often incorporates motifs and symbols that subtly reference Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem. Stylized wings, lightning bolts, and crystalline patterns can be found etched into stone, woven into tapestries, and even subtly integrated into the designs of everyday objects. These are not mere decorations, but quiet tributes, constant reminders of the foundational myths that shaped their society. The people of Unova, even those who might not consciously recall the full legend, live in a world subtly designed around the dragon's enduring influence. It is a presence that is felt rather than explicitly stated, a deep cultural resonance that colors their understanding of the world. The unique geological formations scattered throughout the region are also, in some lore, attributed to the immense energy released during the dragon's conflicts. Canyons carved by searing flames, jagged mountains born from earth-shattering roars, and even the crystalline structures found in certain caves are said to be the residual imprints of their power. These natural wonders serve as silent monuments to the dragon's cataclysmic past, beautiful yet formidable reminders of the forces that shaped Unova. Exploring these areas can evoke a sense of awe, a humbling understanding of the vast, ancient powers that once walked the land. Furthermore, the weather patterns in Unova are sometimes poetically linked to the temperaments of the dragons. Clear, bright days are occasionally likened to Reshiram's pure light, while powerful thunderstorms are seen as Zekrom's electric fury. Even the biting cold of certain regions is sometimes playfully or reverently associated with Kyurem's chilling presence. While not scientifically accurate, The poetic associations demonstrate how deeply ingrained the dragons are in the cultural consciousness, influencing even the way people describe the natural world around them. It is a gentle way of connecting the ephemeral with the eternal, finding meaning in the changing seasons. The philosophical underpinnings of Unova's society, particularly regarding justice and truth, are undeniably shaped by the dragon's narrative. The emphasis on seeking one's own truth while respecting the ideals of others is a direct reflection of the initial schism and the subsequent desire for balance. Debates and discussions often subtly reference the dragon's story, using it as a framework for understanding complex ethical dilemmas. This isn't always overt, sometimes it's a quiet understanding, a shared cultural reference point that guides thought and discussion, much like a lighthouse guides ships through a misty night. The very concept of balance, so central to Unova's philosophy, finds its most potent embodiment in the Tao Trio. The struggle to reconcile opposing forces, to find harmony between truth and ideals, is a recurring theme in Unovan art, literature, and even political discourse. The dragons, in their fragmented state, represent this ongoing challenge, a constant reminder that true understanding often lies not in absolute victory, but in the careful navigation of opposing viewpoints. It is a gentle meditation on the interconnectedness of all things, a soft whisper that reminds us of the delicate equilibrium that governs existence. The influence of the dragons also extends to the Pokémon that inhabit Unova. Certain species, particularly those with elemental affinities or a strong connection to ancient legends, are sometimes seen as having a faint kinship with the Tao Trio. While not direct descendants, their presence adds to the rich tapestry of Unova's ecological and mythical landscape, reinforcing the dragon's foundational role. It's a subtle echo, a whisper of shared ancient energies that ties all living things together in a grand, harmonious web. Even the process of Pokémon training and battling in Unova carries a subtle reflection of the dragon's story. The pursuit of power balanced with wisdom, the understanding that strength comes not just from brute force, but from a deep connection with one's Pokémon, mirrors the philosophical journey of the ancient heroes. Trainers are encouraged to find their own path, to define their own ideals, much like the original heroes who chose to follow either Reshiram or Zekrom. It's a personal journey, a quiet quest for self-discovery that resonates with the ancient legends. The lingering questions surrounding Kyurem, the empty, the shell left behind, are perhaps the most profound. Its existence begs contemplation about what remains when truth and ideals separate. Is it merely an absence, a void, or does it hold a deeper, more fundamental essence? The lore suggests that Kyurem represents the original dragon's body, stripped of its defining consciousness. This makes it a powerful symbol of potential, a blank slate awaiting completion, a quiet, icy testament to what once was and what might yet be. Its stillness, its enigmatic presence, offers a canvas for quiet reflection. The process of Kyurem fusing with Reshiram or Zekrom, forming white Kyurem or black Kyurem, is a fascinating aspect of the lore. This act of refusion, even temporary, symbolizes a longing for wholeness, a whisper of the original dragon's complete form. It suggests that despite their separation, the fragmented parts still retain a deep, almost instinctual pull towards reunification. This temporary synthesis of power is not just about raw strength. It is a symbolic attempt to recreate the balance, to momentarily bridge the chasm between truth and ideals. It's a gentle yearning, a soft echo of a primeval unity. The creation of the DNA splicers, the item necessary for this fusion, itself speaks volumes about humanity's understanding, or perhaps yearning, for the dragon's ancient power. It is a technological attempt to harness and perhaps even manipulate the very essence of these legendary beings, a testament to human ingenuity and ambition. Yet the fact that such a powerful item is needed highlights the profound separation that occurred, emphasizing that simply wishing for reunification is not enough. A tangible tool, a physical bridge, is required. It's a quiet acknowledgement of the deep divide that was created. The concept of absuffusion, as it's known, is a profound act. It's not just a physical merging, but a philosophical one, a temporary reconciliation of the opposing forces that brought the original dragon to its schism. When Kyurem fuses, it gains not only immense power, but also, perhaps, a momentary glimpse into the complete consciousness it once was a part of. This fleeting reunion, however brief, offers a tantalizing hint at the original dragon's true nature, a quiet whisper of a forgotten harmony. The lore also subtly suggests that the three dragons, even in their fragmented state, share a psychic link, a subtle awareness of each other's presence. While they may not actively communicate in a conventional sense, there's an underlying connection, a sympathetic resonance that binds them. This could explain why their powers seem to wax and wane in relation to each other, a silent dance of cosmic energies. It's a gentle reminder that even in separation, there is an invisible thread that connects all things. The Tao Trio's story is a constant source of inspiration for storytellers, artists, and scholars within the Pokémon world. Their tales are retold in countless variations, each generation adding its own interpretations and insights. These narratives serve not only as entertainment, but as a means of transmitting cultural values, of reflecting on the human condition, and of grappling with the eternal questions of existence. It is a living legend, constantly evolving, much like a river carving its path through stone, yet always retaining its fundamental essence. The very act of seeking out these legendary Pokémon for a trainer in Unova is often more than just a quest for power. It is a pilgrimage, a journey of self-discovery, a quiet contemplation of one's own ideals and truths. To stand before Reshiram, Zekrom, or even the enigmatic Kyurem is to confront a piece of Unova's soul, and in doing so, perhaps a piece of one's own. It is a profound experience, a moment of quiet reverence that transcends the typical trainer-Pokemon relationship. The dragon story reminds us that even the most powerful entities are often shaped by the choices and beliefs of those around them. They are not entirely independent forces, but rather deeply intertwined with the human narrative, reflecting our greatest aspirations and our profoundest conflicts. This codependence creates a rich, complex tapestry where cause and effect are often indistinguishable, a gentle reminder of the interconnectedness of all life. The enduring mystery of the original dragon's eventual fate, should Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem ever truly reunite, remains an open question. Would it simply become a more powerful version of itself, or would a new consciousness emerge, one born from the reconciliation of truth and ideals? The lore offers no definitive answers, leaving this profound possibility to the quiet contemplation of those who ponder the dragon's legacy. It is a gentle invitation to dream, to imagine a future where harmony might once again prevail. The quiet understanding that these dragons, despite their immense power, remain a part of the natural world further emphasizes their profound connection to Unova. They are not merely abstract concepts, but living or breathing entities, albeit on a grand scale. Their existence reinforces the idea that even the most legendary Pokémon are interwoven with the fabric of their environment, guardians of an ancient balance. It is a calming thought, a reassurance that even in the face of such immense power, there is an underlying gentle order to the world. And so, the tale of Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem continues to unfold, whispered on the winds, etched into the very stones of Unova, and carried in the hearts and minds of its people. It is a story of division and yearning, of power and philosophy, a gentle lullaby of opposing forces as seeking equilibrium. Their presence, even in their dormant states, continues to influence the very fabric of reality, a subtle, ethereal presence that shapes the dreams and aspirations of all who dwell within its shadow. Their tale is a calming presence, a reassuring narrative that, even in division, there is a complex, beautiful order to the universe. It is a story designed to soothe and to gently guide the mind into a state of peaceful contemplation as the quiet wisdom of ancient legends slowly unfolds, like soft moonlight spreading across a tranquil landscape. The echoes of their ancient conflict, though muted by centuries, still resonate within Unova. One can almost feel the residual energies, the faint hum of truth and ideals, intertwined like the roots of ancient trees beneath the earth. This lingering presence is not a source of fear, but rather a profound sense of history, a deep well of stories waiting to be discovered by those with the patience to listen. The very geography of Unova, with its varied landscapes, from the bustling Castalia city to the serene Dragon Spiral Tower, seems to bear the imprint of these colossal beings. The towering mountains could be seen as metaphors for their unwavering principles, while the winding rivers might symbolize the flow of time, carrying their legend ever onward. Even the people of Unova, unknowingly perhaps, carry a piece of this legacy within them. Their shared history, their cultural narratives, and even their individual approaches to life are subtly influenced by the foundational myths of the Tao Trio. The persistent human striving for both truth and ideals, for progress driven by conviction, mirrors the very essence of Reshiram and Zekrom, and the quiet strength found in unity, in overcoming division, reflects the ultimate potential of Kyurem. It is a slow, almost imperceptible process, this weaving of legend into daily life, but it is undeniably present, like a gentle, persistent current beneath the surface of a calm lake. Consider the Dragon Spiral Tower, an ancient structure that stands as a silent sentinel to the dragon's past. Its spiraling architecture seems to reach towards the heavens, a monument to a time when gods walked among mortals. The very stone of the tower, weathered by countless seasons, whispers tales of the original dragon, of its cataclysmic split, and of the subsequent attempts to understand and reconcile its fractured essence. It is a place of quiet contemplation, where the wind rustling through the ancient stones can almost sound like the dragon's breath, a gentle reminder of their enduring power. To stand within its shadow is to feel a connection to something ancient and profound, a sense of belonging to a history far grander than one's own fleeting existence. The formation of the various landforms, too, can be seen through the lens of the dragon's power. Did the clash of their elemental forces carve out valleys and raise mountains? Did the raw energy of their conflict sculpt the very landscape, leaving behind geological scars and triumphs? While not explicitly stated in all lore, it is a poetic interpretation, a way to connect the grandeur of nature with the grandeur of these legendary Pokémon. It allows for a deeper appreciation of Unova's natural beauty, imbuing it with a sense of mythical origin, a quiet testament to the dragon's earth-shaping abilities. This intertwining of lores and landscape provides a comforting sense of order, a grand narrative that explains the world around us. The search for the original dragon's power, for its ultimate form, has captivated scholars and adventurers for generations. It is a quest that speaks to a fundamental human desire for completion, for understanding the whole rather than just the parts. The thought of Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem reuniting, potentially manifesting as a single, unified entity, is a compelling one. What would this entity be like? Would it possess a consciousness that transcends the individual minds of the three dragons? Would it recall the world before its division, a pristine memory of a time when truth and ideals were one? These are questions that linger in the air, like the scent of night-blooming flowers, inviting quiet speculation and imaginative journeys. The very concept of a unified dragon speaks to a deeper philosophical yearning for harmony, for the resolution of apparent contradictions. In a world often characterized by opposing viewpoints and conflicting desires, the idea of truth and ideals finding common ground, of light and darkness coexisting in perfect balance, is profoundly comforting. It offers a vision of completeness, a gentle promise that even the most fundamental divisions can ultimately be reconciled. This aspiration for unity, for a world where different perspectives can coalesce into a greater whole, is a powerful undercurrent throughout the Tao Trio's story. The lore also hints at the profound impact the original dragon had on the very fabric of reality. Its power was not merely physical, it was conceptual, shaping the very understanding of truth and ideals within the nascent human civilization of Unova. The early people, guided by this immense being, began to articulate these fundamental concepts to build their societies upon them. The division of the dragon, therefore, was not just a physical separation, but a symbolic one, reflecting a burgeoning human capacity for divergent thought, for individual interpretation of core values. This makes the dragons not just powerful creatures, but foundational figures in the development of human consciousness and societal structure. The silence that often surrounds the ultimate fate of the original dragon after its split is itself a part of the lore's calming power. It is a mystery that is not meant to be definitively solved, but rather to be pondered, to be dreamt about. The absence of a concrete answer allows for a multiplicity of interpretations, for each individual to imagine their own version of what might happen if the three dragons were to truly become one again. This open-endedness fosters a sense of wonder, a gentle encouragement to explore the boundaries of imagination, to consider possibilities beyond the immediate and the obvious. The concept of Kyurem as the empty frozen shell waiting to be filled by the essences of Reshiram and Zekrom is particularly poignant. It represents a potent symbol of potential, of something incomplete, yet yearning for wholeness. Kyurem's existence underscores the enduring nature of the original dragon's spirit, even in its fragmented state. It is a quiet testament to the idea that even in apparent emptiness, there is a fundamental core, a latent power waiting to be reawakened. This imagery offers a gentle reassurance that even when things seem broken or lost, there is always a possibility for restoration, for a return to a more complete state. The individual personalities of Reshiram and Zekrom also contribute to the rich tapestry of their lore. Reshiram, with its white flames and its pursuit of truth, embodies clarity, enlightenment, and the pursuit of objective reality. Its presence is often associated with warmth and illumination, a gentle guiding light in the darkness of uncertainty. Zekrom, with its black electricity and its dedication to ideals, represents conviction, passion, and the drive to shape the world according to one's beliefs. Its power is dynamic and transformative, a forceful current that pushes for change and progress. These distinct characteristics are not merely aesthetic, they reflect fundamental human drives. We all seek truth in our lives, striving to understand the world as it truly is. And we all hold ideals, visions of how the world ought to be, and we often strive to make those visions a reality. The dragons, in their very essence, embody these universal aspects of the human experience, making their story deeply relatable, even on a subconscious level. Their narrative becomes a mirror, reflecting our own internal struggles and aspirations, offering a gentle validation of our inherent complexity. The very act of recounting this lore, of gently tracing the lines of their history, is a calming exercise in itself. It allows the mind to settle into a rhythm, to move away from the immediate concerns of the day and into a realm of ancient tales and profound concepts. The slow, deliberate unfolding of their story, from the grandeur of the original dragon to the individual journeys of its fragmented parts, is akin to a quiet meditation. Each detail, each nuance, adds to a sense of completeness, a gentle building of a narrative structure that supports and soothes the wandering mind. The enduring popularity of the Tao Trio, even generations after their initial appearance, speaks to the timeless nature of their story. They are not merely characters in a game, they are archetypes embodying fundamental aspects of existence that resonate across cultures and time. The quiet power of their legend lies in its ability to inspire contemplation, to encourage a deeper understanding of oneself and the world. Their tale is a gentle invitation to explore the interplay of conflicting forces, to recognize the beauty in duality, and to ultimately seek harmony amidst divergence. And so, as the night deepens and the world outside grows quiet, the story of Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem continues to unfold in the mind's eye. Their narrative, a gentle current of ancient wisdom, carries with it a profound sense of peace. It reminds us that even in grand conflicts and immense power, there's an underlying order, a delicate balance that ultimately prevails. Their legend, whispered softly, becomes a lullaby, guiding the listener into a peaceful slumber, filled with the gentle echoes of truth, ideals, and the quiet yearning for wholeness. The dragon's journey from unity to division and the perpetual, unspoken hope for reunification offers a profound sense of continuity, a gentle reassurance that even in change there is an enduring essence, a quiet strength that anchors the very fabric of existence. This continuous flow of narrative, much like the slow, steady breath of a sleeping giant, invites us to further explore the nuanced tapestry of their existence. The Unova region itself, a land of industrial progress and ancient traditions, provides the perfect backdrop for such a deeply philosophical tale. It is a place where the modern hum of machinery coexists with the whispers of forgotten legends, a dynamic interplay that mirrors the very essence of the Tao Trio. The bustling cities, with their bright lights and constant motion, stand in stark contrast to the quiet, serene landscapes of Dragon Spiral Tower or the serene depths of the Giant Chasm, places where the raw power of these legendary Pokémon once manifested or still lingers. This geographical duality within Unova subtly reinforces the themes of truth and ideals, creation and destruction, light and shadow that are so central to Reshiram and Zekrom. Consider the landscape of Unova with its distinct regions, each playing a subtle role in the overall narrative. The desert resorts, bustling metropolises, and tranquil forests all contribute to the rich tapestry against which these ancient legends unfold. The very design of the region, from the towering Sky Arrow Bridge connecting vibrant cities to the serene pathways of the abundant shrine, speaks to a world in constant motion, a world of both progress and tradition. Within this setting, the Tao Trio are not merely creatures of immense power. They are elemental forces woven into the very fabric of Unova's past, present, and perhaps its future. Their story is not confined to ancient texts or forgotten ruins. It is alive in the very air of the region, subtly influencing the lives of its inhabitants and the choices they make. The legends surrounding the original dragon, before its schism, speak of an entity of unimaginable power and wisdom, a singular being that embodied all aspects of existence. This primal dragon was not merely powerful, but was a force of nature, a living embodiment of the world's potential. It was a being of such profound significance that its very presence shaped the nascent Unova region, influencing its geography, its climate, and even the early development of its inhabitants. Imagine a time when this singular entity soared through the skies, its scales shimmering with the combined energies of both fire and lightning, its roar echoing with the wisdom of ages. This original dragon, often shrouded in a veil of mythological ambiguity, represents the ultimate unity, a state of perfect balance before the introduction of human discord. The bifurcation of this magnificent entity, catalyzed by the differing philosophies of two brothers, is a pivotal moment in Unova's history. These brothers, whose names have been lost to the sands of time, were figures of immense influence, leaders whose visions for their emerging kingdom diverged so fundamentally that it led to the fracturing of a divine being. One brother, driven by a fervent desire for truth, sought to build a society based on absolute honesty, unwavering facts, and a relentless pursuit of knowledge. His vision was a world illuminated by the stark, undeniable light of truth, a world where deception and illusion had no place. This perspective, while noble in its intent, could also be seen as rigid, uncompromising, and potentially unforgiving of human weakness. The other brother, equally passionate, championed the pursuit of ideals. He envisioned a society built upon aspiration, dreams, and the boundless potential of the human spirit. His world was one of constant striving, of reaching for a better future, of shaping reality to match noble visions. This outlook, while inspiring and forward-thinking, could also be perceived as detached from the practicalities of the present, perhaps even prone to utopian fantasies. It was this fundamental divergence in worldview, this clash between the tangible and the aspirational, that caused the singular dragon to split, unable to reconcile such opposing yet equally powerful human desires within its own being. From this cosmic division emerged Reshiram and Zekrom. Reshiram, the vast white Pokémon, became the embodiment of truth, its fiery essence representing the pure, unadulterated light of knowledge and revelation. Its flames are not merely destructive, they are purifying, burning away falsehoods and illuminating the path to understanding. Reshiram's design, with its elegant white plumage and turbine-like tail, evokes a sense of pristine power and refined grace. Its signature move, Blue Flare, is a stunning display of intense, concentrated heat, a visual metaphor for the undeniable force of truth. To face Reshiram is to confront reality head-on, to accept facts as they are, no matter how uncomfortable they may be. Its presence is often described as overwhelming, a brilliant beacon that can sometimes be blinding in its intensity. Zekrom, of the deep black Pokémon, conversely became the living manifestation of ideals. Its electrifying power symbolizes the raw energy of aspiration, the driving force behind progress and change. Its body, dark and formidable, with its jet engine-like tail, suggests a powerful, grounded presence, a force that can reshape the world through sheer will. Zekrom's signature move, Bolt Strike, is a devastating surge of electricity, representing the shocking impact of revolutionary ideas and the powerful surge of collective will to achieve a better future. To encounter Zekrom is to be inspired, to feel the pull of possibility, to be moved by the vision of what could be, and to be empowered to strive for that vision, even against formidable odds. Its energy is often felt as a potent, almost magnetic force, drawing individuals towards a shared purpose. The legends tell us that these two dragons, once united, then fought fiercely, their battles reshaping the very landscape of Unova. The clashes between Reshiram's searing flames and Zekrom's electrifying storms would have been cataclysmic, tearing apart mountains and carving out valleys. Imagine the skies above Unova, ablaze with fire and crackling with lightning, the earth trembling under the weight of their immense power. These battles were not merely physical confrontations, they were philosophical debates waged on a cosmic scale, a testament to the profound impact that human convictions can have on even the most divine of beings. The brothers, witnessing the destructive consequences of their irreconcilable differences reflected in their dragons, eventually came to understand the futility of such absolute conflict. In a moment of shared realization, perhaps exhaustion, they decided to cease their hostilities, leading Reshiram and Zekrom to retreat from the world, entering a state of slumber within their respective orbs, the Lightstone and the Darkstone. These orbs became not merely prisons, but vessels of dormant power, waiting for a time when their resurfacing would be necessary, when the balance between truth and ideals would once again be threatened. This period of dormancy is crucial, allowing for the natural world to heal from the dragon's destructive conflict, and for humanity to grow and evolve, perhaps learning the lessons of moderation and compromise. The Lightstone and Darkstone, seemingly inert rocks, held within them the potential for world-altering power, a quiet promise of future awakenings. And then there is Kyurem, the boundary Pokémon. Kyurem's existence is a profound mystery, a stark coldness that hints at something incomplete, something missing. Lore suggests Kyurem is the empty husk, the desolate shell that was left behind when the original dragons split into Reshiram and Zekrom. It is the void, the absence, the negative space created by the division. Its body, an icy blue and jagged, seems to be perpetually frozen, an embodiment of absolute zero, a creature defined by what it lacks rather than what it possesses. Kyurem is often described as a tragic figure, a silent testament to the devastating consequences of schism and separation. It roams the giant chasm, a crater-like area said to be the impact site of a meteor, but metaphorically, it could also represent the deep, unhealed wound left by the original dragon's fracture. Kyurem's chilling power is derived from its ability to absorb the energy of other beings, a desperate attempt to fill the emptiness within itself. Its signature move, Glaciate, unleashes a wave of biting cold, capable of freezing whatever it touches, a poignant reflection of its own internal barrenness. Unlike Reshiram and Zekrom, which embody distinct concepts, Kyurem embodies the very act of separation, the lingering trauma of what was lost. It is the raw, unadulterated power of the original dragon, but without the guiding principles of truth or ideals to give it form or purpose. This makes Kyurem a creature of immense, untamed potential, a blank slate waiting to be filled, or perhaps a permanent reminder of a wound that can never truly heal. The legends whisper of Kyurem having the power to fuse with either Reshiram or Zekrom, forming black Kyurem or white Kyurem, respectively. These fusions are not merely power-ups, they are temporary reintegrations, an attempt to reclaim a semblance of its lost wholeness. When Kyurem fuses with Reshiram, it becomes white Kyurem, a formidable being that combines Kyurem's icy emptiness with Reshiram's fiery truth. The resulting form is an awe-inspiring spectacle of power, a creature that crackles with both intense heat and chilling cold, a paradox made manifest. White Kyurem's signature move, Iceburn, is a devastating blend of ice and fire, a visual representation of truth being wielded with a desperate, chilling intensity. This fusion suggests that even truth, without the balance of ideals, can become cold and unyielding, a stark and perhaps isolating force. Conversely, when Kyurem fuses with Zekrom, it becomes black Kyurem, a powerful entity that merges Kyurem's cold void with Zekrom's electrifying ideals. Black Kyurem exhibits a raw, unbridled force, its icy exterior charged with the potent energy of aspiration. Its signature move, Freeze Shock, is a terrifying combination of freezing power and electrical discharge, symbolizing ideals pursued with a cold, relentless determination. This fusion hints that ideals, when untempered by a deep understanding of truth or a sense of inherent wholeness, can become a destructive, overwhelming force, propelled by an almost desperate need to fill a void. In both fusions, Kyurem temporarily gains a fraction of what it lost, but these are not permanent solutions. They are fleeting moments of reintegration, emphasizing the enduring nature of its original schism. The presence of the Tao Trio profoundly impacts the human inhabitants of Unova. Their legends are woven into the cultural fabric, influencing art, architecture, and even the philosophical underpinnings of society. The conflict between truth and ideals, so vividly embodied by Reshiram and Zekrom, is a recurring theme in Unovan history and even in its educational systems. Children grow up learning about the two brothers, grappling with the complexities of their choices and understanding the delicate balance required for a harmonious society. The stories of these dragons serve as cautionary tales, reminding people of the dangers of extremism, whether it be an unyielding adherence to facts without empathy or a pursuit of dreams without grounding in reality. They also serve as inspiring narratives, illustrating the immense power that conviction and belief can wield. The Tao Trio also provides a powerful allegory for the human search for identity and purpose. Well, just as the original dragon split and Kyurem was left incomplete, humans often feel a sense of internal division, a struggle between opposing desires or aspects of their own personality. The journey to understand and reconcile these internal conflicts is a deeply personal one, much like the dragon's quest for balance. The existence of Kyurem in particular resonates with the universal human experience of feeling incomplete, of yearning for something lost or unknown, of searching for a sense of wholeness. Its very being speaks to the profound psychological impact of division and the enduring desire for integration. The themes of unity and duality are not unique to Unova, but the Tao Trio brings them to life in a way that is both epic and deeply personal. The dragons are not simply symbols, they are active participants in the ongoing drama of the region, their influence felt not just in ancient times, but in the modern era as well. The events surrounding Team Plasma, an organization driven by a radical interpretation of ideals, brought these legends to the forefront once more, demonstrating how easily powerful concepts can be twisted and misused. Team Plasma's founder, N, a mysterious figure with a deep connection to Pokémon, sought to create a world where Pokémon and humans lived separately, believing it to be the only path to true liberation for Pokémon. His ideals, though noble in their inception, became extreme and ultimately destructive, proving the very point that the dragon story subtly conveys. Ideals without truth, or truth without compassion, can lead to imbalance and suffering. N's ability to communicate with Pokémon, a rare and profound gift, allowed him to connect with Zekrom, resonating with its ideals of liberation and a better world. However, the protagonist's journey to awaken Reshiram, the Dragon of Truth, served to challenge N's singular vision, illustrating that even the most well-intentioned ideals must be tempered by reality and understanding. This direct confrontation between the two dragons once again mirrored the clash of philosophies, but this time with the added complexity of human agency and manipulation. The ultimate resolution, or lack thereof, of this conflict within the narrative reinforces the enduring nature of the struggle between truth and ideals, suggesting that it is not a battle to be won definitively, but a balance to be continually sought and maintained. The tale of the Tao Trio, in its quiet profundity, offers a comforting presence as the mind drifts towards sleep. It is a story of grand forces and intricate balances, of ancient powers and enduring lessons. The slow unfolding of their history, from the unified original dragon to the distinct identities of Reshiram, Zekrom, and the enigmatic Kyurem, provides a gentle rhythm, a narrative current that carries the listener into a peaceful state. The concepts of truth, ideals, and the search for wholeness are not merely abstract. They are made tangible through the dragon's forms and powers, allowing the mind to gently explore these profound ideas without effort. The very thought of these majestic creatures soaring through the Unovan skies or slumbering in their ancient resting places evokes a sense of both wonder and serenity. Their legend, passed down through generations, becomes a soothing balm, a reminder that even in complexity, there is an underlying order, a delicate interplay of forces that ultimately contributes to the richness of existence. The quiet hum of their lore, like distant thunder or a gentle breeze, becomes a natural accompaniment to the descent into sleep. It is a story that invites contemplation, but without demanding it, allowing the mind to simply absorb the gentle flow of information, to find peace in the cyclical nature of division and the yearning for unity. The powerful yet calming imagery of fire, lightning, and ice, woven into the very fabric of these legendary Pokémon, creates a tapestry of sensory experience that is both vivid and deeply restful. The enduring mystery of Kyurem, the empty dragon, adds a layer of poignant depth to the narrative, a quiet contemplation of what remains when something beautiful is broken. Yet even in its incompleteness, Kyurem holds a profound significance, reminding us that even perceived flaws or absences can be sources of immense, albeit raw, power. The possibility of its fusion, however temporary, offers a glimmer of hope for reunification, a gentle suggestion that even the deepest wounds can in some way be mended or understood. This ongoing narrative, with its deep philosophical undercurrents, nurtures a sense of quiet introspection, allowing the mind to connect with larger themes of existence, ultimately leading to a more profound and restorative sleep. The dragons of Unova, in their silent majesty, become guardians of dreams, their ancient story a gentle guide into the deepest slumber. The genesis of the Tao Trio, as whispered through Unova's oldest legends, begins not with three distinct beings, but with a single, magnificent dragon. This progenitor, a creature of immense power and wisdom, existed before the concept of division took hold, a pure embodiment of natural force. Its form was said to be indescribable, shifting and shimmering with the raw energy of the nascent world. This unified dragon did not possess a name in the human tongue, for it predated the need for such distinctions, existing as an absolute, an unchallenged presence in the early days of Unova. It was a time of primordial peace, where the land and its few inhabitants lived in harmony with this silent, all-encompassing guardian. The dragon's very existence shaped the landscape, its breath stirring the first winds, its movements carving the first rivers. It was a time when the world was young and full of unbridled potential, much like the dragon itself. But even in this state of perfect unity, the seeds of change were being sown. As human civilization began to emerge and develop, two heroes, twin brothers, rose to prominence. These brothers, both wise and powerful, were destined to shape the future of Unova, and in doing so, inadvertently set in motion the events that would fracture the original dragon. One brother championed truth, advocating for honesty, reality, and the unwavering pursuit of facts. He believed in seeing the world as it was, unvarnished and unembellished. The other brother, equally passionate, championed ideals, striving for a better future, for progress, and for the realization of dreams. He envisioned a world not as it was, but as it could be, a realm of aspiration and innovation. Thus, two philosophies, while not inherently conflicting, began to diverge as the brothers sought to guide their people. Their followers, swayed by the compelling arguments of each twin, also began to separate, forming distinct communities with differing worldviews. The original dragon, sensing this growing schism in the human heart, began to reflect it within itself. Its singular essence, one so perfectly balanced, started to strain under the weight of these opposing human desires. The dragon was not a mere observer, it was intimately connected to the land and its inhabitants, its very being intertwined with their aspirations and conflicts. The moment of division was not sudden or violent, but rather a profound internal fracturing, like a vast crystal slowly cleaving under immense pressure. The unified dragon, unable to reconcile the increasingly disparate philosophies of truth and ideals embodied by the brothers, split into three distinct entities. From the essence of the brother who sought truth, Reshiram was born, imbued with the power of fire, representing the burning passion for reality and the illumination of what is. Its white, feathery form, reminiscent of pure, untainted fact, emerged from the dragon's incandescent core. Its flame burns with a searing intensity, capable of incinerating anything that stands in the way of truth, yet also providing warmth and clarity. Simultaneously, from the essence of the brother who championed ideals, Zekrom came into being. It manifested the power of lightning, symbolizing the electrifying spark of innovation, the dynamic force of progress, and the relentless drive towards a better tomorrow. Its dark, formidable form, like a storm cloud gathering power, embodied the raw energy needed to forge new paths. Its thunderous roars and crackling electricity represent the powerful energy of change and the conviction to push boundaries. And then there was Kyurem. The legends describe its birth differently, often with a sense of profound melancholy. Kyurem was not born of either truth or ideals directly, but rather from the residual emptiness, the cold void left behind by the division of the original dragon. It was the husk, the shell that remained, stripped of the vibrant energies that formed Reshiram and Zekrom. Its icy body, perpetually generating intense cold, is a stark reminder of what was lost, the absence of the complete whole. Kyurem embodies the concept of Wuji, the absence of Tai Chi, the primordial chaos before creation, or in this case, the void left after creation's separation. It is the empty dragon, yet its emptiness is not an absence of power, but a different kind of power, a power of raw, untamed potential, a frozen silence that echoes with the memory of unity. With the birth of Reshiram and Zekrom, the conflict between the twin heroes reached its peak. Each brother, now accompanied by his respective dragon, engaged in a fierce war to determine the future of Unova. The skies above the region were ablaze with fire and rent by lightning, a spectacular and terrifying display of legendary power. The war was devastating, tearing apart the land and causing immense suffering. However, neither side could achieve a decisive victory. Reshiram's burning truth and Zekrom's electrifying ideals were perfectly matched, locked in an eternal stalemate. The intensity of their battle was so immense that it threatened to obliterate Unova entirely. In a moment of clarity, or perhaps exhaustion, the twin heroes realized the futility of their conflict. Their dragons, mirroring their trainer's wisdom, ceased their battle. The brothers, seeing the destruction they had wrought, chose to call a truce. They understood that neither truth nor ideals could truly triumph over the other, for both were essential for a balanced and prosperous society. One could not build a future without understanding the present, nor could one truly know the present without aspiring to a better future. Following this realization, the dragons, sensing the cessation of conflict in their chosen heroes, withdrew. Reshiram and Zekrom, their immense energies temporarily depleted, chose to slumber, transforming into the legendary Lightstone and Darkstone, respectively. These artifacts, imbued with their dormant power, were hidden away, waiting for a time when new heroes might emerge to rekindle their purpose. The resting places of these stones became sacred sites, revered by the people of Unova, who remembered the awe-inspiring power and the ultimate wisdom of the dragons. Kyurem, the empty dragon, did not participate in this grand conflict. It remained isolated, a silent, chilling presence in the northern reaches of Unova, specifically in what would become known as the Giant Chasm. Its nature was one of profound coldness and a constant yearning for the pieces it lost. Unlike Reshiram and Zekrom, which embodied active principles, Kyurem was a living embodiment of absence, a reminder of the fractured whole. Its very presence altered the environment around it, creating a perpetually frozen wasteland, a testament to its raw, uncontrolled energy and its perpetual state of longing. Generations passed, and the tale of the Tao Trio became a revered legend, passed down through oral tradition and ancient texts. The Lightstone and Darkstone were eventually rediscovered, leading to the events of the Unova region's later history. In one of these pivotal moments, a young trainer, embodying either truth or ideals, would awaken one of the dragons. For those who championed truth and sought to illuminate the world with honest reality, Reshiram would emerge from the Lightstone, ready to lend its fiery power. For those who dreamed of a better future and strove to electrify the world with progress, Zekrom would awaken from the dark stone, its lightning ready to strike. The interaction between the awakened dragon and its chosen hero was always profound. The dragon would assess the hero's heart, searching for a genuine alignment with its core principle. It was never about mere strength or ambition, but about the purity of intention and the depth of conviction. Once bonded, the dragon and hero would embark on a journey, often to challenge those who sought to disrupt the delicate balance of Unova, or to champion a cause that resonated with the dragon's essence. Kyurem, however, remained a separate entity, a creature of stark, unyielding cold. Its legends spoke not of partnership, but of its insatiable desire for the parts it had lost. It was said that Kyurem continuously sought to regain its original form, to become whole once more. This longing manifested in its unique ability to fuse with either Reshiram or Zekrom, absorbing their power and regaining a semblance of the unified dragon's strength, though never truly becoming it. These fusions, resulting in Black Kyurem and White Kyurem, were temporary and unstable, a powerful but ultimately incomplete restoration. The process of fusion itself is a fascinating aspect of Kyurem's lore. It is not a willing partnership in the same way a trainer bonds with a Pokémon. Instead, it is an act of absorption, a forceful integration driven by Kyurem's inherent need. The DNA splicers, a mysterious ancient device, were discovered as the key to facilitating this improbable union. This artifact, an echo from a time when the original dragon existed, holds the secret to momentarily bridging the gap between the fragmented parts. When Kyurem fuses with Reshiram, it gains Reshiram's fiery essence, becoming White Kyurem, a creature of immense power that blends ice and fire, a visual paradox that speaks to the unnaturalness of his temporary wholeness. When it fuses with Zekrom, it absorbs Zekrom's electric power, becoming Black Kyurem, a formidable being that combines ice and lightning, a tempest of contradictory forces. These forms, while incredibly powerful, emphasize Kyurem's continued incompleteness. It is not the original dragon reborn, but rather a temporary amalgamation, a powerful echo of what once was, constantly striving for a unity it cannot fully achieve on its own. The legend of the Tao Trio continues to resonate throughout Unova, serving as a powerful allegory for the human condition. The original dragon represents the potential for unity, the ideal state of perfect balance. The twin heroes symbolize the inherent duality of human thought and ambition. Reshiram and Zekrom embody the essential yet often conflicting forces of truth and ideals, both necessary for growth and progress. And Kyurem, the empty dragon, stands as a poignant reminder of loss, of the consequences of division, and the enduring human desire for wholeness and completion. Its perpetual struggle to regain its lost pieces is a reflection of our own journeys to find balance, to integrate disparate parts of ourselves, and to heal the fractures within our lives. The gentle hum of Kyurem's chilling loneliness, the warm glow of Reshiram's truth, and the vibrant crackle of Zekrom's ideals create a rich tapestry of sound and image that soothes the mind. As the listener contemplates these ancient forces, the mind begins to slow, finding comfort in the philosophical depths of the narrative. The story of the Tao Trio is not just a tale of powerful dragons. It is a meditation on existence itself, a quiet journey into the nature of reality, aspiration, and the search for inner peace. The imagery of the vast Unovan skies, the icy chasm, the burning plains, and the storm-swept mountains, all touched by the presence of these magnificent creatures, offers a serene landscape for the imagination to wander. This quiet exploration, devoid of demands or challenges, allows the consciousness to gently detach, drifting on the currents of ancient lore towards the tranquil shores of deep, restorative sleep. The very thought of these legendary beings, slumbering and awakening, embodying fundamental forces, instills a sense of profound calm, a feeling that even in the grandest narratives, there is a gentle rhythm that guides all things. It is a story that whispers of balance, of the dance between opposing forces, and the quiet strength found in understanding. The whispers of the past, carried on the gentle breezes of Unova, remind us that the Tao Trio's tale is not merely a historical account, but a living, breathing philosophy embedded within the land itself. Every shimmering heat haze over the desert, every crackle of static before a storm, every biting chill of the winter air holds a faint echo of Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem. Their presence is woven into the very fabric of the region, subtly influencing its geography, its culture, and the quiet aspirations of its people. Consider the diverse landscapes of Unova, a region seemingly designed to reflect the very nature of these legendary Pokémon. The fertile central plains, a place of growth and community, can be seen as a harmonious blend of the ideals and truths that the twin dragons represent. The vast deserts to the east, often scorched by the sun, might subtly resonate with Reshiram's fiery essence, a place where harsh realities are laid bare. Conversely, the western mountainous regions, frequently battered by storms and cloaked in clouds, could be seen as an embodiment of Zekrom's tempestuous might, a place where strength and conviction are forged. And then there is the giant chasm, a scar upon the land, an eternal reminder of Kyurem's desolate presence, a place where cold and emptiness reign, a monument to what was lost. Even the architecture and legends of Unova's ancient peoples often subtly nod to the Tao Trio. Though direct mentions might be veiled, the motifs of duality, of striving for a greater truth, or of overcoming profound division are commonly found. The construction of ancient temples and monuments, often built with a symmetrical balance or featuring carvings that depict two opposing yet complementary figures, can be interpreted as a subconscious homage to the twin dragons. The very concept of Unova as a unified region, despite its geographical and cultural diversity, stands as a testament to the enduring power of the original dragon's legacy, a subtle aspiration for wholeness that permeates the collective consciousness. The tale of the Tao Trio also offers a comforting perspective on change and transformation. The original dragon, whole and complete, eventually fractured, leading to the birth of Reshiram and Zekrom. This division, while initially seen as a cataclysm, ultimately sparked new forms of existence, new ways of understanding the world. It suggests that even in apparent loss or fragmentation, there can be a genesis of something new, something that, while different, still carries the essence of its origins. Kyurem, in its perpetual state of incompleteness, reminds us that even when things are broken or unsettled, there's always an underlying potential for reconnection, for healing, for finding a way to make peace with what is. This philosophical depth is what makes the lore of Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem so profoundly calming. It doesn't present a world of simple victories or defeats, but rather a nuanced reality where balance is a dynamic process, not a static state. The dragons are not merely powerful beasts, they are personifications of universal concepts that resonate with the deepest parts of our own experiences. Their story is a gentle invitation to contemplate the interplay of light and shadow, of passion and reason, of presence and absence within our own lives. Consider the act of witnessing these powerful forces. Imagine standing quietly in the heart of the Dragon Spiral Tower, feeling the ancient energy that still lingers within its stones. Perhaps a low hum, almost imperceptible, resonates through the air, a faint echo of the original dragon's power. Or picture the serene stillness of the giant chasm at night, the moon casting long, ethereal shadows across the icy landscape, a profound sense of solitude that isn't frightening, but rather deeply contemplative. These are not places of fear, but of profound reflection, spaces where the grandeur of the natural world and the depth of ancient legend converge to create an atmosphere of quiet introspection. The gentle whir of Reshiram's fiery tail, not a roar of aggression, but a soft, steady warmth, speaks of enduring truths that guide us. It's a comforting fire, one that illuminates rather than consumes, a light that helps us see the world with clarity and honesty. Its presence is a quiet assurance that authenticity, though sometimes challenging, ultimately leads to a path of strength and integrity. This inner flame, burning softly and steadily, can be a source of calm and courage within us, a reminder to stay true to our deepest convictions. Then there's the subtle crackle of Zekrom's electric generator, a low, consistent thrum that suggests the quiet power of ideals in motion. It's not the violent burst of a thunderstorm, but the underlying hum of potential energy, the steady force that drives progress and change. Zekrom represents the power of conviction, the drive to shape the world according to one's beliefs. This gentle hum, constant and unwavering, speaks to the enduring nature of our aspirations, the quiet determination that propels us forward even in moments of doubt. It's a sound that encourages us to dream, to imagine, and to gently push the boundaries of what is possible. And Kyurem, in its quiet solitude, offers a different kind of calm. Its cold is not piercing, but encompassing, a profound stillness that invites a deep sense of peace. The image of the empty dragon, waiting patiently, not in despair but in a state of quiet expectation, reminds us that even in moments of incompleteness, there is a serene strength. It's a reminder that healing is a process, that integration takes time, and that there is a quiet dignity in simply being, even when one is not yet whole. The gentle drift of snowflakes around Kyurem, each unique yet part of a larger serene blanket, evokes a sense of natural order and quiet acceptance. The very act of recounting this lore, slowly and deliberately, allows the mind to settle into a rhythm. Each detail, each philosophical nuance, is a gentle wave washing over the consciousness, smoothing away the sharp edges of daily concerns. The narrative unfolds like a quiet dream, inviting the listener to journey through ancient lands and abstract concepts without effort or resistance. The slow pace of the storytelling mirrors the gradual process of falling asleep, a gentle descent into a state of relaxed awareness. This is not a story that demands energetic engagement, but one that rewards passive reception. It is a tapestry woven with threads of wisdom and wonder, designed to be admired and felt rather than actively analyzed. The subtle interplay of legend and psychology, of myth and meaning, creates an atmosphere of profound tranquility. The dragons, in their majestic simplicity and complex symbolism, become guides to a deeper state of relaxation, their ancient wisdom a lullaby for the restless mind. The interconnectedness of their story, the way each dragon is defined by its relationship to the others and to the original whole, subtly reinforces the idea of universal interconnectedness. Nothing exists in isolation. Every element plays its part in the larger cosmic dance. This understanding can bring a profound sense of peace, a feeling that we too are part of something vast and ancient, a continuous narrative that stretches across time and space. Our own struggles for balance, for truth, for ideals, are echoes of these grand primordial forces. The gentle suggestion that the original dragon might one day be reformed, or that its essence still lingers, offers a quietly hopeful undertone. It's a promise of potential, a gentle reminder that even the deepest divisions can, in time, be bridged. This quiet hope, devoid of urgency or expectation, is a powerful soporific. It allows the mind to release its grip on anxieties about the future, knowing that the grand design of the universe, like the story of the Tao Trio, has its own slow, patient unfolding. So, as the tales of Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem continue to unfurl in the quiet spaces of the imagination, the mind finds itself enveloped in a soft, ethereal glow. The burning truths, the surging ideals, and the chilling emptiness all coalesce into a harmonious hum, a lullaby whispered by legendary beings. The journey through Unova's lore becomes a passage to a deeper, more profound rest, guided by the ancient wisdom of dragons and the enduring quest for balance. The imagery of their power, their wisdom, and their serene contemplation of existence settles upon the consciousness like a soft blanket, preparing the way for dreams as vast and ancient as the legends themselves. The very air around the listener seems to grow still, infused with the quiet majesty of these legendary Pokémon, leading gently into the realm of peaceful slumber. The whispers of their history continue to drift, carried on an unseen breeze, across the tranquil landscapes of Unova and into the quiet chambers of your mind, settling softly like dust motes caught in a beam of moonlight. We delve now into the very genesis of these colossal beings, tracing their origins back to a time before recorded history, a time when the land itself was still finding its form, and the concepts of truth and ideals were nascent yet profoundly powerful in the human heart. Imagine, if you will, an era of profound unity, where a single, magnificent dragon Pokémon, unmatched in power and wisdom, soaring high above the primordial Unova. This creature, simply known as the original dragon, was not merely a beast of immense physical prowess, but a living embodiment of the nascent human spirit's yearning for a perfect world. It was a singular entity, yet it held within its vast essence the potential for all the truths and all the ideals that would later divide its descendants. This original dragon, a being of unimaginable scale and grandeur, coexisted in serene harmony with the earliest inhabitants of Unova. It was a guardian, a source of guidance, and a silent observer of the fledgling civilization that was beginning to take root in the fertile lands below. The people of that distant past, living in a time of fewer complexities, found solace and wisdom in the presence of this magnificent creature. It was a symbol of their collective strength, their shared aspirations, and their unified understanding of the world. There were no factions, no disputes over fundamental beliefs, only a communal striving towards a common good, guided by the silent, majestic presence of the original dragon. Its breath was said to be the very winds that nourished the land, its roar, the distant rumble of thunder that heralded refreshing rains. Its scales shimmered with the colors of dawn and dusk, reflecting both the fiery passion of truth and the serene clarity of ideals. But as humanity evolved, so too did the complexity of its thoughts and desires. The simple understanding of truth and ideals, once a unified concept, began to diverge. Two heroic brothers, leaders of the burgeoning civilization, emerged, each with a profound yet distinct vision for the future of their people. One brother, driven by an unwavering pursuit of absolute truth, believed in confronting reality head on, seeking irrefutable facts, and shaping the world based on undeniable evidence. His conviction was powerful, a burning flame that sought to illuminate every shadow and expose every falsehood. He saw the world as it was, and strived to understand it with unyielding honesty. The other brother, equally driven, but by a different kind of fervor, championed the pursuit of lofty ideals. He envisioned a world not as it was, but as it could be, a utopia built on principles of justice, compassion, and progress. His dreams were expansive, a surging tide of hope and potential, aiming to elevate humanity beyond its present limitations. He saw the world through the lens of what it ought to be, and strived to build that vision with unwavering determination. These two brothers, both noble and well intentioned, found themselves at an ideological crossroads. Their visions, though born from a shared desire for a better world, began to clash. The very concepts that had once been unified within the original dragon now found separate champions in the hearts of these two foundational figures. This ideological schism, a quiet tension at first, grew into a profound division, mirroring the burgeoning complexities within the human spirit itself. The original dragon, sensing this growing discord within the people it had long watched over, recognized the profound shift occurring. It understood that its singular form could no longer adequately represent the bifurcated aspirations of humanity. In a moment of supreme, self-sacrificial wisdom, it chose to divide itself, not out of weakness, but out of a profound understanding of the evolving human condition. It knew that to truly serve the people, it had to reflect their internal landscape, even if that landscape was now fractured. And so, with a cosmic sigh that resonated through the very fabric of Unova, the original dragon split into three distinct entities. From its fiery essence, imbued with the unyielding pursuit of truth, emerged Reshiram. This magnificent creature, a pure white dragon with a magnificent flame-tipped tail that burns with an internal furnace, embodied the burning passion for truth, the desire to illuminate and reveal. Its very presence radiated a searing warmth, a comforting light for those who sought clarity and understanding. Its signature move, Fusion Flare, is not merely an attack, but a manifestation of its core being, a brilliant conflagration that purges falsehoods and sheds light on reality. Reshiram's cry is said to be like the crackling of an eternal fire, a sound that awakens the mind to undeniable facts. From the original dragon's surging essence, imbued with the unwavering pursuit of ideals, emerged Zekrom. This formidable creature, a pure black dragon with a massive turban-like tail that crackles with raw electrical power, embodied the surging energy of ideals, the drive to create and inspire. Its presence radiated an invigorating energy, a powerful current that propelled those who dreamt of a better future. Its signature move, Fusion Bolt, is a testament to its essence, a devastating surge of electricity that empowers progress and electrifies change. Zekrom's roar is said to be like the thunder before a storm, a sound that galvanizes action and inspires monumental shifts. And what of the third part? What became of the empty space, the void that remained after the burning truth and surging ideals had taken form? This was the genesis of Kyurem, the third and perhaps most enigmatic member of the Tao Trio. Kyurem represents the shell that was left behind, the cold, desolate emptiness that remained after Reshiram and Zekrom had split from the original dragon. It is a creature of immense power, yet its very existence speaks of a profound loss, a chilling reminder of the unity that once was. Kyurem is often described as the husk or the empty dragon, forever yearning to reclaim the parts of itself that it lost. Its body, jagged and icy, reflects the desolate nature of its origin. Its signature move, glaciate, is a blast of freezing wind, a tangible representation of the chilling void it embodies, a coldness that speaks not of malice, but of profound absence. The separation of the original dragon into these three powerful entities dramatically reshaped the landscape of Unova, both physically and spiritually. The two brothers, now each allied with their respective dragon, Reshiram for truth and Zekrom for ideals, embarked on a legendary conflict. Their initial intentions were noble, each believing their path was the righteous one for their people. One sought to build a society based on absolute, unvarnished facts, believing that true progress could only come from a clear understanding of reality. The other envisioned a world shaped by aspirational principles, believing that humanity's greatest achievements sprung from its noblest dreams. This clash, however, was not one of good versus evil, but of two fundamental, yet opposing philosophies. It was a conflict of conviction, where both sides believed wholeheartedly in the righteousness of their cause. The dragons, Reshiram and Zekrom, embodied these philosophies, their immense powers becoming the instruments of their respective champions. Their epic battles, though devastating to the land, were not born of hatred, but of a profound ideological divide that humanity itself had created. The skies over Unova would often be alight with the clash of fire and lightning, a terrifying yet awe-inspiring spectacle that etched itself into the very bedrock of the region's folklore. The land bore witness to their immense power, scarred by the infernos of Reshiram and the electrical surges of Zekrom. Yet always, life found a way to persist, to grow amidst the aftermath. Kyurem, the empty shell, remained largely aloof from this initial conflict. It wandered the desolate northern reaches of Unova, a creature of stark, freezing power, its origin a mystery to many, its existence a somber echo of a forgotten unity. It was a force of nature, chilling and immense, but devoid of the burning passion or surging idealism that drove its brethren. Its very presence was a testament to the cost of division, a silent, frozen sentinel guarding the memory of what once was. Its isolation was a poignant reflection of the state of the original dragon, scattered and incomplete. The war between the two brothers, fueled by their dragons, reached a stalemate. Neither truth nor ideals could fully vanquish the other, for both were essential components of the human spirit. The conflict, though epic, ultimately proved fruitless in achieving a decisive victory for either side. The wisdom of the original dragon, in its self-division, anticipated this stalemate. It knew that neither absolute truth without ideals, nor pure ideals without truth, could truly lead to lasting peace. Eventually, the brothers, exhausted by the endless conflict and recognizing the futility of their struggle, called a truce. The legendary dragons, Reshiram and Zekrom, acknowledging the wisdom of their trainers, retreated from the world, transforming into their dormant form, the Lightstone and the Darkstone, respectively. Those ancient artifacts, imbued with the essence of the dragons, lay hidden for centuries, awaiting a time when their power would once again be needed, perhaps when a new generation faced a similar ideological crossroads. This act of retreating into dormant forms was not a surrender, but a profound pause, a moment of reflection For both the dragons and the human civilization they had influenced, it was a recognition that true balance could not be achieved through conflict, but through integration, through a deeper understanding that truth and ideals, while distinct, are ultimately intertwined. This initial period of dormancy allowed the land to heal and for humanity to slowly begin the process of understanding the nuanced interplay between these powerful forces. The legend of the single original dragon and its subsequent division serves as a foundational myth for the Unova region, informing its culture, its philosophy, and its very landscape. It is a tale that speaks to the inherent dichotomy within human nature, the constant tension between what is real and what we strive for, between facts and dreams. The presence of Kyurem, the desolate third, serves as a poignant reminder of the cost of this division, a chilling emptiness that yearns for a return to wholeness. It is a story whispered through generations, a silent lesson in the enduring quest for balance in a world perpetually shaped by the interplay of truth and ideals. The very air of Unova seems to carry this ancient narrative, a gentle hum of history that encourages introspection and a serene contemplation of these fundamental forces.